Hey, what's up, everybody? It's GameFace, episode 466, right here on Sifted at sifted.net, the #1 gaming podcast about video games. At least that's what I think. We've been off for a week, but we're back, and we're back with a vengeance. And of course, alongside me to do that is the one, the only, the incomparable, Matthew Keil. What's up, Matt? How are you, man?
All right.
Matt's had a little bit of a rough week.
Hey.
I think you did.
It wasn't that bad, really.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Last week, Monday, the 26th, I had to have my appendix removed after 16 hours at the ER because, but let's not have nationalized health care because then we'll have to wait a long time.
Right.
Yeah, basically, Sunday afternoon, I felt like a pain in my side. I was like, oh, would I pull something? It's a twin, just kept getting worse. I couldn't sleep, and finally around, got real bad around 5 a.m. And I had an appointment that day at my doctor's anyway, so I called them when I opened, and I'm like, hey, should I wait until my appointment today, or should I just bite the bullet and go to the ER because it's going to take 9 hours or whatever anyway? And she was like, yeah, well, you're going to need a scan, and we don't have those machines here, so you're probably just going to want to go over there. So I did, and waited 4 hours to get in, and then waited 3 hours for a CT scan, and then waited 4 hours for the surgery, and that was it. And I got, a bunch of people, helped me out, and my friend Joe came and drove my car back with me to get it back, and brought me stuff the next day, and it was, I'm mostly fine now. Still a little sore, a little bruised, but
how amazing is it?
It's all laparoscopic.
It's insane.
I have 3 holes in me now, and it's
That's
fine.
crazy. My dad had his appendix removed, and he had a scar on his stomach like this wide. And Matt goes and gets his done. It's a week later. It's not even a week later, and here you are doing a show.
It was a week last night. Yeah.
Crazy. So anyway, if you wondered what happened and you don't follow us on Twitter or on Blue Sky and you're just like, wow, GameFace just didn't happen last week, it's because of this. Matt, the night before, was like, hey man, my appendix is rupturing. I got to get surgery.
It was not rupturing. It was infected.
But if you had left it, it would have ruptured
eventually. If I left it probably 3 more days, it would have ruptured probably. But I was not going to be able to leave that for 3. I wasn't able to leave it for 3 more hours.
Yeah,
That's the second worst pain I've ever felt.
I've heard that pain is excruciating.
And the only thing worse was the aftermath of the bladder surgery, which that's because the thing they operated on has to have acid shot through it several times a day, which is
that'll do it.
This one you don't have to do that with, thankfully.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty much okay. I mean, I'm not supposed to lift anything over 10 pounds for another week, but otherwise, pretty much okay.
Modern medicine is amazing. It really is crazy.
I kept thinking about that, where I'm just like, man, there was if I hadn't been born in the 150-year window I'm in, I would have just gotten worse and worse and died.
Even if you were just born when our parents were our age, you would have had a surgery that would have knocked you down for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, my mom has that huge scar.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you do have to sign a thing that says, if your appendix is ruptured or ruptures when they're trying to remove it, they will have to cut you open like that
and
to
do
clean
it the old way.
out.
Yeah.
Because
it poisons you.
Yeah, you can't let that infected material get everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, it was fine. I read the surgery report. According to it, I lost 1 milliliter of blood.
Wow.
Which is basically nothing.
Yeah.
And I did have. I was always my whole life I've been concerned about my appendix. Would I know it was happening? Would I not realize it and ignore it? It would blow up and it would kill me. But I'm also a catastrophic thinker. That's why I'm my mother's child.
That's your thing. Yeah.
Which is why I'm so prepared for so many things. But and every once in a while it's great. It's like, oh, I don't. That broke. I have that in the garage. But you
didn't have an extra appendix in there.
No, you don't need another. You don't even need one, really.
It's so weird. Isn't it because, when we were in a prehistoric age, we ate so much more meat that we needed the appendix to process the meat?
Actually, it's the other way. I think it's believed. There's all
we were herbivores or whatever.
It's basically, I think it's what remains of our crop, of with some extra stomach. That you would use to break stuff down or hold enzymes
we don't need
in it.
It's this huge organ in our bodies that we do not need.
It's not huge.
It's what, about fist size?
No, it's like an inch long.
Oh,
they're very tiny.
Oh, I thought it was bigger than that actually.
So mine actually was one of those. I don't remember the name, but it's backwards, bent behind the intestine, which means that the pain presents higher, which it did. I thought it was like my gallbladder or something because it was up too high.
Yeah,
and it does have, and that version does have a more likelihood of rupturing. but it was caught pretty early because it hurt real quick.
The pain, yeah.
I mean, I was in the hospital less than 24 hours after it very barely started. Because like early on, I could like move a certain way and it was fine.
It would go away.
And by like 5 a.m. the next, I was like, no, this is not going. It's not going anywhere. Because it felt early on, it felt like when you eat something spicy, and it like you can feel it moving through you.
Yeah.
It was like that, but it wasn't moving.
Oh.
And
Eric Carmenez is asking, is it worse than kidney stones? Which I've never had kidney stones, but I have friends who I know who are hard asses who had kidney stones, and it brought them to their knees.
I have never had a kidney stone. The people I know who have, like, I am willing to bet kidney stones are worse.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I've heard that kidney stones are the closest a man can feel to childbirth in terms of that pain.
Worst pain I ever felt, tearing my ACL. Hands down, by far, worst pain I ever felt. Not even close to anything else.
This was, I would say, a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, to me, that ACL was like a 10. Like, it hurt so bad that I didn't even cry, but tears just ran out of my eyes.
No, I know.
Like,
I get that.
I was like, what's going on?
The post-bladder surgery thing was a 10.
Yeah.
Like, the first day or two. Like, it's just... Because, again, they didn't cut me open for that. They went in with a ballpoint pen-sized thing through another opening. Don't recommend it if you can avoid it.
So anyway, we got the. It looks like people are hooking up with us up with a hype chest because of your surgery, Matt.
And I will say, once I woke up from the surgery, like not having that pain in my side anymore was like the best thing.
Such relief.
Felt. Like I felt like I wanted to go do everything I'd ever wanted to do. I was like, absolutely, I'm invincible right now. Because like, it still hurt. Obviously they drilled holes in me and all that. So like that was that was nothing. It was nothing compared. It was like a splinter in my thumb compared to what I'd just been sitting. Because I will tell you, the emergency rooms in here, and probably everywhere, are fucking terrible.
They're full. They're packed. Yeah.
Like the care you get once you get in is fantastic. Like the people in the Cedars-Sinai and even the Kaiser here and UCLA, they're all the people working there are fantastic. But the places are run as for-profit dystopias, and you get in there and they're like, it's 3, 4, 5 hours to wait. Like at one point they sent a guy out to the head of like patient care, like relations, to apologize to everyone for having to wait so long. And I was like, do you have any questions? And I didn't ask any questions because I wanted to get in. I didn't want to get bumped on the list because I'm being a dick, right? But I had two questions, and the first one was, what are you talking about? Because every time I've been here, either myself or for other people, we have waited for 9 hours.
That's just the way it is.
We've just been all the way back to like 2004 when I took Sessler in when his back was hurting. Like he was there for hours and hours and hours. Like, it always takes forever.
Yep.
Second, and I was like, and because I'd been there for about 3 hours at that point, and so all I could do was like try to distract myself with my book and to like Google things to make me angrier.
Yeah.
And like my question was, this hospital made $1.3 billion in profit last year. Profit, not revenue. Profit.
Yeah.
Why are the words understaffed and under-equipped allowed to be said within a mile of this building?
Yeah.
What the fuck is because in the meantime, this girl who was probably like 17 or 18 had been pulled in a wheelchair by I think her father, and she was screaming for help. She was, I think she had an ovarian cyst or something. She'd never felt anything like this. I'm sitting there like it sucks, but I'm sitting there like, I've had pain like this. I've had pain that isn't as this bad, but I can, I understand.
She's the priority.
She hasn't lived nearly as long. She's screaming and begging for help and crying, and she's in misery. And they're like, you gotta wait. I can't control it. It's triage. And I'm like, what? Look, I was again trying to describe how I was like 7 or 8, second worst pain I've ever had. I would have let this girl go in front of me.
Right.
Like she was probably in about as much pain as I was, but she was terrified.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't have the bandwidth, because they had like one nurse for like 40 people. I'm like, you don't have the bandwidth to take this girl back and give her something to like calm her down, just like ease the pain a little bit so she's not like this. Like that's just basic humanity. Like
nobody wants to be a nurse because it's a really tough job.
Terrible job.
You have to go to school for it. You have to pay a lot, and then you get paid nothing.
And this was the same
day
that
hospitals don't want to pay nurses.
And this was the same day that Kaiser was on strike. So it was like all very wrapped up together. And I'm sitting here like barely able to like focus on what I'm trying to read, and I'm just like this is gonna radicalize me. Like this, I'm gonna tear the whole fucking system down when I get out of here. Like I'm, like for-profit healthcare is a scourge.
It really
it's
is. It really
scourge.
is awful. I'm sure our European folks right now are like, thank God I don't have to.
Yeah,
deal
if you're
with
in Europe
this
and you're hearing this, you're like, what the fuck is going? That's what's going on over here. Like this is what it's like over. Like
well, I'm sure when I was talking,
I'm sure you wait plenty of time for things.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, things fill up. But again, I never got a bed.
Yeah.
Like I was treated in a chair in a hallway. Like a chair you sit in when you like meet with the principal, like that stupid like rigid chair.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with like appendix pain. They've got me hooked up to an IV next to like 4 other people. The guy 2 chairs down was also there for appendicitis. The girl next to me like inhaled poisonous fumes at her workplace and couldn't see straight anymore. And I'm just like, what? It was like we're being treated for like war casualties. It was like, I'm like, if an actual earthquake hits this city, we're fucked. We're completely fucked. If this is what it is on like a Monday, like what do you do?
Yeah.
So
that's why we didn't have a show last week.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what happened. And the crazy part is it all happened the night before. So there was no time to do anything else or whatever. I had already done all the work for the episode.
I think I told you in the morning, like, hey, I'm in the ER for like the second worst pain I've ever had. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And then like it was around like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
It has not happened.
They're like appendicitis. Like we're still waiting for it.
And that was that.
So.
Yeah.
To be honest, if I'd had the surgery that morning, I might have been able to do the show the next day just because they gave me good enough painkillers that I you know.
Yeah.
It was probably wouldn't have been good to sit in one place for that long.
No.
Because they do tell you, like, if you're sore or if it's bothering you, like, the best thing you can do is get up and walk around.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to not sit around.
Keep the blood flowing.
You got to walk around and...
Makes
and
sense.
It does what, like, if something starts to feel sore, you just got to walk around for a while and it feels fine after a minute. It's like magic.
Well, if you showed up last week at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern to watch GameFace. Again, I tell you this all the time. Follow us on either Twitter or on Blue Sky because we announce all this stuff way in advance. Like as soon as Matt sent that message to me the day before, I immediately went on Twitter and Blue Sky and said, hey, there's no show tomorrow. And I do try to show up on the chat at 1 p.m/4 p.m. I can't remember to do it every time, but I usually do show up on chat and put a couple messages in there. GameFace is not happening. GameFace is not happening. I'll probably post it like 3 times or whatever. But anyway, if you're someone who comes here and you're like, what's happening? Just follow us on Twitter or on Blue Sky and you know about all that stuff. And of course, if you're on SIFTD.net, you know as well because we have a forum thread there for GameFace where we post everything about what's going on with the show. So anyway, if you got caught off guard last week and showed up and we weren't here, again, follow us on Twitter or on Blue Sky and you know about that stuff going forward. We should be okay going forward here. At least I hope so. Hopefully nothing happens to either one of us. Because we've started off this year with a bang.
Yeah,
my knee, my broken foot, and now Matt's appendicitis. It's been crazy so far. Hopefully this is all in the past and we can trudge forward.
Damn, 2026 got hands.
Seriously. A couple things before we get going on the show today. I did want to clarify one thing that we talked about when we were here last time. We had confusion over Resident Evil Requiem, whether you were able to switch whenever you wanted to between Grace and Leon, or whether the game dictated when you change between the characters. As it turns out, the game does dictate. They did a bunch of previews this week, and finally, all the journalists who went to the preview event finally decided to share what actually happens. And you just have to play through the whole game. You take turns playing as each one of them. You can't choose at all.
And like the articles at that time were saying you could change whenever you want.
Nobody knew. So now that they finally got to play it...
A very weird thing to not be clear on.
Well, I think one of the problems was when they were showing it to the press before, they weren't actually playing the game. They were playing like a little demo, and they say, now you're going to play as Leon, now you're going to play as Grace.
Right,
and,
but like that would have been one of my first questions.
I know. I hear you, man. I try not to slag games journalists too much because it's a tough gig at times. But yeah, it's crazy that it took this long to figure out how that works. But anyway, that is how it works. The game just takes turns. You play as Leon, then you play as Grace, and the game controls it, and you just play through the game. So that's one thing. The other thing is the SIFTD Fantasy Challenge is now live. And this is the fantasy league that you guys all play in, not the one that Matt and I play in, although we do. We play just for fun. But anyway, it is live right now. We had planned on launching it last week during the show, but of course, everything happened with Matt's appendicitis, and that didn't happen. So it is live right now. When I get home from doing this show, we will put up a bunch of promotion for it on both SIFTD and our Patreon and on all our social media channels with a link for you guys to go there. But if you guys already know the link because you've done it before, it's at the same place. So you can go there right now. Well, let's wait till the show's over. But when the show's over, you can go there and you can make your picks for the SIFTD Fantasy Challenge. And again, when I get home a little later tonight, I'll put up all the promotion for that so you guys can all join. But it is live right now, so if you know where it is, I think it's tensionmask.com/sifted or something like that. If you know where it is, you can go and make your picks whenever you want to, but I'll be putting up promotion for that later, and the Sifted Fantasy Challenge will be kicking off. Obviously, you won't be able to pick any games from January, so Code Vein 2, stuff like that won't count.
Big Smoke up in the chat a little bit commented that he works in a hospital for the HHS in the UK, and they have a 15-hour wait to be treated, and then you get treated for a week in a hallway. Like it's a casualty of war situation or something. It's terrifying.
That's crazy.
So it's, I guess, just like that everywhere.
We got a super chat over on YouTube from Alex Ruwheel 9810, and he asks, when will GTA pre-orders start if there's no delay? So today is a big day for that, because today Take-Two gives their quarterly financial report, and what we've seen in the past is when that happens, like the next day or even that day, is when they delay Grand Theft Auto 6. So if it makes it past today, they have one more in May. And if it makes it past May, then it's 99% sure.
I was going to say probably June.
Yeah.
Would be like, I'd think around Summer Games Fest time.
Yep. So if it's not delayed, my guess would be May, June. You'll probably be able to start taking pre-orders. It's crazy to me that they haven't started taking pre-orders for that game already. Like you would think they'd just let it happen.
I'm sure like some places are taking it.
Yeah.
Swan Senpai asked if I ordered that Robosen Soundwave. I did not, because it's too small.
Really? How big is it?
It's like, I want to say it's 14 inches.
Oh, that is small.
Which is like the Megatron. I mean, some of them are smaller. Like the Bumblebee is smaller, but Bumblebee is smaller.
Yeah.
Grimlock's too small, but a Grimlock correctly scaled to the Prime and Megatron they made would be like 2.5 feet tall. Like it'd be a little too big. But Megatron and Prime are huge. But Soundwave is smaller than Bumblebee, and I think it's too like. So he fits the cassettes properly, but like it's too small.
That's
for
weird.
$1,000. It's too.
No way.
I mean, I love Soundwave, but it's
like my favorite.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the collection. That
sucks.
I just didn't do it. I mean, it was pre-ordered for $1,000. Now, if you got to be, I think it's like $1,400. Like, it's more. But yeah, for that kind of money, for it to be that small, I might be done with those. I didn't get Bumblebee either.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't care. I don't $1,000 care about Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Is really the answer to that. I do probably $1,000 care about Soundwave, but like it wouldn't fit the other. Like if he fit with Megatron, I totally would. But he's too small. It's like a little like forced perspective. It's a little Hobbit Soundwave. I don't need that.
I hear you. Let's scroll up into our chat and see what you guys are all saying.
Yeah, if it's your only one, that's a lot more. Yeah, if you're only gonna get the one.
Soundwave break dances. That's why he gets my vote. Khalib Tolai, my parents went to the hospital one time. Doctors asked if they were UK medical tourists. That's funny. My parents are in France, by the way. Yeah. Big Smoke says there's a lack of government funding. Yeah. I mean, there's no funding. It's all for profit in America. What else we got in here?
And yet we do spend all the taxpayer money to make up the gap between what people can pay and what they have to pay. It costs us more.
It actually is like a hybrid system where we are contributing some.
Well, because you have to not let the healthcare system go under.
Yeah.
So it's we spend more on that than we would if we just gave everybody healthcare. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Rosencrantz, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1 for 70 freaking months, Thank you.
About half the country has somehow been convinced that living one medical crisis or like anything from financial ruin is the meaning of freedom. Mm-hmm. So here we are.
Erebus says, to be fair, the experience sounds about the same, but at the end of it, there isn't a bill. So
there is that.
See, Erebus, that's the real problem here. Like, I'm sure when I talked about like how much money I'm gonna have to spend this year between like my tooth and like my possible knee surgery, people were like, "Oh my god!" Like they don't even think about it. Mm-hmm. But it's like for us, it's like my biggest expenses every year, about last year for the last 5 years, have been medical expenses.
Yeah, I mean my biggest expense is the mortgage.
Yeah, but, I don't have.
But beyond, it's next to that. Yeah, it's health. I mean, it's
medical.
Obscene amounts of money. I mean, I pay like triple what I used to pay for health insurance every month because now I'm old.
Mm-hmm.
So
just because you're old, they're like you're gonna break down, and so you got to pay more.
Like the old insurance thing I was on was basically like they kicked me off because they're like, yeah, you're too old for us, and like we basically insure young, healthy people who don't need medical insurance.
Doctor.
Yeah. That's literally what it was.
Yep.
It was like $200 a month.
Alex, thank you for that super chat, brother. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully we answered your question well enough to your standards. Nightwing, took me 12 hours to see a doctor about my kidney stone. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then Senatite says in Portugal, the government doesn't have enough money and ERs are usually crowded and you have to wait hours. But, I mean, we do that too. So.
Yeah. that really is it. It's like we're all waiting hours for whatever, but at the end of it, they stick me with $1,000 bill. So for the, you're welcome.
Swan Senpai says you do have to wait a long time for a doctor where he's from. New York City nurses are on strike for a fourth week. They should be. These people are so underpaid. And like Matt said, you look at the profits that these hospitals make, they're just being cheap.
Yeah.
It's not about not having the money to pay. They just don't want to pay.
I got no criticisms for the people who treated me or any of the people that were working in there that day. They're all for the people who run the place.
Yeah. JM Rain says, I've had kidney stones and bone marrow biopsies several times. I've heard the bone
marrow stuff is very, very painful.
I've heard that, man. Glad you made it through, though, JM Rain. Love you, brother. What else we got here? AJ Watson, my wife says kidney stones were the worst in childbirth for her. I've heard that, man.
Yeah,
I have a buddy who gets them like once every 3 years.
Yeah, one of my high school friends, like he got his first one like the summer between our freshman and sophomore year of college.
Yeah,
very young. Yeah, so super young. And yeah, he basically was like laying on his bed for like 3 days, and we would come up. He was
moaning.
Well, he was the friend who had like the house that like was always empty because the parents would go on business trips, like international business people. So all the parties were at his. So we would just go over every day and bring him stuff and like sit there and play games in the living room and like go up and check on him once in a while. Like we basically lived in his house for like a few days while he like just sort of passed his kidney stone miserably the whole time. And I mean, this was like a big tough Latino like. He played water polo. He's soccer. He's a
brought him to his knees.
Tough old Argentinian guy, and like this boy, he was crying in his bed over. It was nightmarish, and I mean to the point. I mean, not, and I certainly didn't judge him for that. I was like, all I could be like, well, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Like, actually, the best news they got when they did the CT scan of on Monday, they scan your whole abdomen, and actually, that was probably the most painful thing was I had to put my hands over my arms over my head for the scan, and oh boy, did it not like doing that. Like that sucked.
The wrong position.
They scanned it. It's like, oh yeah, no gallstones, no kidney stones. Like I'm like, no kidney stone. I'm hanging on to that one. That's everything else sucks about having to just get surgery, but like no kidney stones, bingo, happy.
Yeah. Norix Nessie and Talimper, thank you for Twitch Prime. We get anybody else in here? iViz, thank you for Twitch Prime. Who else we got in here? Khalib Twalai gifted a bunch of tier 1 subs. Thank you, Khalib Twalai. That's awesome, man. Wow, that's great. Not Cirque, thank you. Congrim 1, thank you. Got anybody else in here? Glottis 21, thank you. 62-month streak, that's freaking awesome. That's over 5 years. That's amazing, Glottis. Mitchell Ness, thank you for Twitch Prime. Who else we got up in here? David 5807, thank you. And I think that might be it. Olds Mike, thank you as well. Yeah, I mentioned in the last time we were here that our Twitch Prime, I don't understand it. We had our worst month right after the holidays when I had kind of asked you guys if you could do it. And we had the worst month ever. I don't understand it. I don't understand the internet anymore, Matt. I really don't, man. I really don't. I don't know what you do or don't do on the internet to be successful or not successful anymore. And I've been working on it since 1997. And I have no clue anymore. What do you do to be successful on the internet? I don't know. I don't get
6-7. That's what you do.
I guess. That's it, I guess. Let's see. What else we got here? Out of Baldy's Way, thank you. Some of you guys are getting in here a little bit later.
I remember the episode we talked about Sinners.
Yeah. Why are you asking that, Dreylox?
Probably because it's got the most nominations for the Oscars of any movie ever.
Oh. Is that true?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Most nominations ever for any movie.
That's insane. Wow.
Over the weekend, I ran into someone. I met someone who hated Sinners. First person I've, and she was like, I'm like, no, I think it was the best thing I saw last year. I thought it was fantastic. And she's like, I'm like, you are not going to find anyone else in this room who agrees with you. And so she started going around asking everyone what they thought. And you'd see, it's like, oh yeah, I loved it. And it's like, it's like I'm sorry, I don't, you don't have to like it.
Yeah.
But like.
I thought Sinners was okay. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was good, but I'm surprised it got that many nominations. What else we got here before we get into the show? You do OnlyFans to be successful on the internet. No, you're right, actually. That does feel like the only... And that's not going to work for me, obviously, so...
That's Shane's problem. He's been giving the feed away for free for years.
I did. I just gave it away for free in the last episode, or the first one of the year, actually. Mm-hmm. Fire Native, thank you. Metal Gear Jimmy, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. And I think that might be it. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's time to get on with GameFace 466. That was a long intro. But it was worth it because we've been gone for a couple weeks. We definitely want to explain to you guys what the heck's been going on.
I always have surgery in between.
Yeah, hopefully not. And seriously, though, how often are you going to have surgery and only miss one episode? Like, that's probably the only surgery where you'll ever do that.
Yeah, I don't remember how many I missed with the bladder surgery.
I mean, with knee surgery, I could show up and put my leg up or whatever, but getting up the stairs, like, not going to happen.
Because it would have had to heal long enough that I could have made it 3 hours without having to pee.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 2. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, before we get going, I just want to let you guys all know that if you want to help us out, head on over to patreon.com/sifted. For $5 a month, you get all our content early. This show, you get 4 days, 3 days early. All other stuff, at least 3 days early. Pactor Factor, you get a week early. But here's the thing. If you subscribe with Twitch Prime, which we talk about all the time on the show, if you do that, you get Pactor Factor a week early, just like you're one of our patrons. So if you could do that, that'd be sweet. If you haven't heard about it before, if you're watching on YouTube, go down in the description below, and there's step-by-step instructions how to do it. It's very easy. And once you've connected your 2 accounts, it literally takes 3 seconds every month to do it. And you do have to re-up it every month, which is a pain in the ass. But unfortunately, Twitch will not bend. I don't know why it is so adamant about doing that, but it is. So we appreciate it if you could go and re-up that if you haven't done it for a while. And if you've never done it, do it for the first time. That would be sweet. All right. With that. Oh, I should have mentioned, actually, before we get going, we have no graphics today. So when I dumped the graphics onto the hard drive to bring over here, I double-checked the folder, and they were in there. I looked at another folder and went back to that folder. They were still in there, and then I got here, and there was nothing in the folder. So for the live show today, unfortunately, we do not have upper thirds for you guys. Those will be put into the show in post. So anyway, just so you're wondering, if you're wondering why that stuff isn't showing up in today's show, that's exactly why. But in the final version that you guys watch, the archives, it'll all be in there.
I gotta work under these conditions. I'm out.
Well, we're going to kick off today's show talking about... So initially, for last week's episode, it was going to be the Xbox preview of 2026 and a look at the Xbox Developer Direct, which happened
if
like
you can even call it that.
Right. And then as we missed the show, other stuff happened, and it's just kind of this gigantic Xbox topic because there's a lot of stuff going on with that right now. So we're going to talk about that first in today's show, but before we do that, here's a word from our awesome sponsor, LS Cream. It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter, Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink crémasse, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted. That's right, people. Join the Cream Team and Cremass Dadass with some LS Cream, one of my favorite liquors on the market. I'm not exaggerating. It is so versatile. You can mix it with almost anything, and it tastes delicious. We've been talking to you guys over the last few months about the LS Cream 5K Challenge. They are still working out the kinks in their distribution, so it still might be a little difficult to find bottles right now in certain areas, but go to creamls.com/sifted. That is your best bet to try and find them. The deadline for the LS Cream 5K Challenge has been extended. We don't have a new deadline for it, but they're going to wait until the distribution kinks get worked out and then give you guys a couple months leeway to start working on your own drinks to enter into the 5K Challenge. So in the meantime, try to find yourself a bottle. Go to creamls.com/sifted. Right there, you can figure out how to sign up for the website, how to register for the 5K Challenge, but most importantly for right now, there's a bottle locator there where you can help find bottles either online or locally where you can go and pick them up. Again, go to creamls.com/sifted and start getting prepped for the LS Cream 5K Challenge. All right, we're going to kick off today's show, as I said, and it is weird not going to graphics here. It's just like muscle memory that I have doing the show. We're going to kick off the show today talking about Xbox, and we're going to preview Xbox for 2026, go through all its big exclusives, all the big exclusives coming to Game Pass. We're going to do that like we've done already for PlayStation 5 and Switch 2. But a bunch of stuff has happened since we wanted to talk about this, and a lot of it has to do with Xbox's financials. So we're going to kick off this topic with that. Matt, I don't know if you saw this week, but Xbox hardware sales were down 32%.
I did see that.
Year over year. And don't forget, a year ago, it was already down 30% year over year. So you're talking about like 60% in the last 2 years.
Well, a little less than that.
Which isn't that big.
Percentage of a percentage is about a third of that, so probably closer to 50.
Yeah. I wasn't going to do the math.
I mean, way down.
Way down.
Like, not good.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious why they're going the route they're going.
Which is bad, but it's also kind of by design, right? Because Xbox is telling you don't need to buy an Xbox.
Pretty
you can
much.
use your TV, you can use your phone, you can
They
use
clearly
your PC.
saw the writing on the wall long before this.
Yeah. So it's terrible. I mean, if you're a third-party publisher who's trying to sell games on Xbox, it's terrible. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get to what...
But who are they?
Well, that's the thing. So we're going to talk about them in a second here. So that's bad, down 32% year over year, but it's not a surprise because Microsoft, its strategy is making this happen.
Yeah. I mean, they've been distant third for a very long time now.
Here's the problem, Matt. Their services revenue, which is the money that they make from Game Pass and monetization inside games, microtransactions, things like that, was also down 5% year over year.
Well, I think they lost a lot of people with the price hike.
Yes.
They lost me, that's for sure.
Did you drop?
I dropped down to PC.
Did you?
Because I'm like, well, I'm not.
You're only using PC
I'm only
anyway.
using the PC anyway.
Yeah.
And I haven't used online multiplayer or any of the. I mean, so yeah, I just dropped down to PC, which they didn't really hike too much.
A little bit. I have still not dropped, but every time I get that alert from my credit card in my email saying you've just been charged $30, I'm like, I go and I look and I see what's there. Am I going to play it this month or am I not? And so far, I stayed. I don't know if that's going to happen, but look, I wouldn't blame anybody for dropping at this point and just going month to month and looking every month and saying, is there an exclusive that I want to play this month? If so, I'll join for a month and then I'll drop when I'm done and I've played that game. Like, I think that's probably how most people are approaching Xbox, or not Xbox Live, but Game Pass at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about most people because most people are lazy.
And just let it keep rolling.
Let it go.
Yeah.
But the total cost is no longer some incidental thing that you can just sort of ignore if you don't use it. It's not like that thing where it's like, oh, I mean, that's about what I pay for a sandwich, so who cares?
It's $360 a year.
Yeah,
how many people that you know, Matt, that play games spend $360 a year on software?
About half of them.
That's what I'd say. About half of the people I know. And those are like core gamers, I would call them. Like,
not all of them. I mean, most of the ones I would say that are like lapsed core gamers.
Yeah.
You know, people that we used to be, core gamers, and now, they have kids or but they still sort of keep up on things.
Listen to a GameFace podcast every once in a while.
And maybe they don't spend, maybe they buy like what would have been $360 worth of games at full price, but they're buying them on sale. That happens a lot,
Yeah.
I routinely get messages from several friends who are just like, is this any good? Last one being Scarlet Nexus. And I'm like, yeah, it was all right. It was kind of dead. And he's like, is it $8 good? I'm like, yes, it is absolutely $8 good. Yeah, go ahead and go. You just say that first next time. I'll just say, yeah, buy it. So it's like, yeah, it's, and like for that, you don't need Game. I mean, Game Pass is more important if you're got to play it on day of, got to play it now, don't want to pay full price.
That's not those people anymore.
No,
yeah.
it's hard to pin that down anymore. And then and it's funny because like all their kids, they don't even use game because they're all playing either the one guy I'm thinking of, like his boy just plays Roblox and like some free shooter I can't remember the name of that isn't, it's not Fortnite, it's like
just a free-to-play shooter.
It's free-to-play shooter. So he and his friends play, and every time I go over to his house in the back, his kid's in the back, and he's just like yelling at his friends to the point that I'm like, no, you idiot over there. And I'm like, how does he have any people to play with yelling at him like that? He's like, they all yell at each other. Like, that's just what they do.
That's how they communicate.
Right. And then like the girls just play apps, and no one plays real video games anymore.
Yeah. Well, the CFO at Microsoft, who oversees Xbox and Game Pass, blames the financial shortfall on a lack of first-party game sales. Which, that's your design,
Who
buddy.
wants to tell him?
Yeah. And here's the thing. They just did a survey, excuse me, for GDC 2026, and I think it was 65% of the developers that were polled only want to work on PlayStation and Switch games going forward. Only 35% of the surveyed developers from GDC want to work on Xbox games going forward. Because if your game...
Because what's the point?
What's the point? If your game's not on Game Pass, there's no point.
Yeah.
Because nobody's buying the console. Nobody's buying games for Xbox anymore.
Like, really, if you can throw it on there just for, like, with no extra effort or scheduling, I guess, like, might as well. But it's like,
there's always at least a little bit of work involved.
Sure, there's a couple of people that are going to pick it up.
The Series S causes problems for some developers getting it to run on that.
But I just don't see the upside anymore.
I don't see any side to it, whether it's up or sideways.
Like just batten down the hatches and wait for Microsoft to become the next Sega and go third party entirely.
I mean, that's what it feels like is about to happen, Matt.
Except they're still putting out that stupid box. They keep talking about
There's still time for them to bail on that.
I think they should.
I do too. I think that's a terrible idea.
I think it's time for Xbox to become a publishing brand, basically.
I agree. If they've already dumped a couple $1 billion into R&D, then maybe I'd reconsider.
Especially because, I mean, Microsoft's been a software company from the beginning anyway. Like, this is what they were.
It's never been a hardware company.
I mean, I hesitate to say best at, but let's because now we're all dealing with all the Windows 11 bullshit. But it's like, it was. I mean, everyone always thought it was weird that they were getting the hardware in the first place to some degree, but and clearly they did not fulfill Bill Gates's mandate of take the console business, because that's where interactive is the next. So they were close. They 360 kind of almost pulled it off, but then they handed it over to the set-top box boys, and it all collapsed like a flan in a cupboard.
Bill Gates' name has a new ring to it after the last week.
Certainly does.
And not a good one.
No.
I would add. So anyway, I don't know if you guys remember my prediction. One of my predictions for 2026 was that by the end of the year, every Xbox game will be day and date on PlayStation as well. So that was my big prediction, that by the end of the year, basically, Xbox will be a third-party publisher.
I think I agreed and said I think the last one that will have a separation is Forza. And that seems to be what's happening.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about Forza in just a minute, in fact. So things are going really bad at Xbox, and
or is that just what they want you to think?
I don't think they want you to think that.
I mean, they're clearly they seem to very much understand they're in a transitional period here.
It feels like they've been there since 2018, though.
It feels like even longer than that to me. I mean, I feel like you couldn't say for sure one way or the other, but it always felt like the writing was kind of on the wall when the Xbox One came out of the gate the way it did. And you had that period where they started rebuilding and buying these other companies, and for a while I was like, oh, maybe if they get that lineup together and they figure it out. But like I do think that maybe there is a world where you didn't do Game Pass, and this exclusive lineup that they've got now could have drawn people in.
Yeah.
But obviously
that ship sailed. And
maybe that's a world where there is no Game Pass. Maybe that's a world where they are able to bribe people to put their third parties to put their stuff on exclusive. Maybe they do get GTA early or something. I mean, who knows? Like, working with Microsoft's war chest, you could do a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But like, we're not. They leaned in on this Game Pass thing, and it was either going to work or it didn't. I guess it didn't.
It doesn't look like it's gonna, and I don't know how you fix it. Like, you could make a free version of Game Pass with ads or something like that, stream only stuff. But how much is that going to really move the needle? That's going to bump you 5%.
I mean, it's not even going to get you the revenue that you would need to. I mean, it's like what? Like, it plays ads the whole time it installs the game, like that.
Yeah.
I just turn the TV off and come back an hour later.
It's like a mobile thing that mobile players seem to like it. I don't know. I would not like it, but a lot of players do for whatever reason.
No. I mean,
they'd rather watch an ad than pay. I guess.
For me, it's the same people that watch movies on YouTube with the ads. I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't.
Well, now you got to watch movies and TV shows on Amazon with ads.
Right.
I mean, Amazon. If you watch Fallout on Amazon, it's just like watching it on TV. It's just like a 42-minute show with the same number of ad breaks in there. It's crazy, and I'm paying for it. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, cable's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
We're all come right back to that, haven't we? And we're all paying the same amount we were for cable.
Yeah,
but if you add up all the streaming services, which actually I canceled, I think all of them except I still have Netflix and I still have Apple, because Apple still puts out the best.
Still pretty good.
I mean, there's no publicity. I mean, I always go back to, I think it was John Oliver who said Apple TV Plus, where celebrities go to hide, because like constantly you're asking people
like
about,
Jennifer Aniston.
Have you seen this thing? And they're like, what is it? I mean, it's like the best thing I've seen all year. It's like, oh, it's on Apple. That's why I've never heard of it.
It's funny.
But like Apple TV is.
They've got
some banger. I mean, Pluribus.
Yeah.
I think the Breaking Bad guys.
I know.
Like, and you can tell. Watch that first episode, and you're in the hands of the Breaking Bad guys.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. But you got to subscribe to Apple TV Plus to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, Xbox is in dire straits right now, but because it has such a war chest, I mean, the big fear here is Microsoft is making money hand over fist, corporate-wise. Xbox is becoming just this tiny little piece of Microsoft. So it almost to the point where it's almost becoming like insignificant and like a pain in the butt.
If they can work out a way to kind of just become a straight software publisher and have just like that all be rolling, I mean, they could become another revenue stream of value. Of it. I mean, just there's a point at which you got to cut bait.
Yeah.
And I think they are beyond that
I feel like they're teetering. Yeah, for sure. So we'll see what happens
especially because the way the hardware says, I mean, it really looks like the next, not the Switch 3, right? God knows what Nintendo's doing, but it really looks like the next PlayStation could be $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's a hard ask. And it's an impossible ask for an Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way.
I mean, it might work if it's the only option. You know, if there is no Xbox, people will be like, well, I got to pay it. What other console am I going to buy?
It's either that or build a PC.
Right. Which is cost you an extra $500 or whatever to build an okay
At that
one.
point, who knows? I mean,
thousands
it
could
and
cost
thousands.
$5,000. It's crazy.
I was thinking about that because I'm just like, well, I guess I don't really need a new PC probably until The Witcher 4.
Yeah.
Right? Which is probably like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And by then, I'm like, hopefully everyone will come to their fucking senses on the AI bullshit, and like not be charging double, triple for SSDs and RAM and all that. But we'll see.
Yeah.
In the meantime, like I don't, because of the way that is all working out, price and hardware. Well, I like there's no universe where Xbox is the smart buy there. So what are you even trying to do?
I think they should can their Xbox.
I think you're right. Either that or, and I think you suggested this before, but it's like, yeah, maybe do like a cursory Xbox box
PC-ish thing,
where like you don't go all in on it, but you make it and you put it out and you kind of have enough to show sales data wise, like, see, this isn't worth doing anymore. We're not going to do it anymore. Like it kind of to prove to the shareholders, if you need to do that like, yes, Xbox as a hardware brand is not a viable strategy anymore. We are shifting to this.
Yeah.
Like that maybe I could see using it for that. But like, honestly, if your shareholders are not like mollusks, you should be able to just tell them, yeah, we're not doing that anymore because duh.
Yeah.
You know? But who knows? I mean, I don't know what their situation is there.
Well, we're going to spend some time here going through the exclusive lineup for Xbox and Game Pass in 2026. Now, when we initially were going to discuss this, we were just going to talk about the recent Xbox Developer Direct where they blew out Forza Horizon 6 and Fable and Beast of Reincarnation and a brand new game from Double Fine. But now we're going to preview the whole year instead of just talking about those games. And we're going to do it in chronological order, so you kind of get a lay of the land as far as what's coming on Xbox and Game Pass in 2026. So the first game we're going to discuss is a game that I drafted on my fantasy team. It is a game called Replaced. Mm-hmm. This is a 2.5D sci-fi retro-futuristic action platformer set in a 1980s alternate history America. You control Reach, which is an artificial intelligence trapped against its will in a human body, and you're navigating the corrupt Phoenix City while trying to understand human life. It combines handcrafted pixel art with cinematic free-flow combat and exploration. And I think what really kind of, at least kind of stands out for me checking out this game is the combat. Like, it's on a 2D plane, but the combat actually feels like it's fighting in 3D. I wish more 2D games tried to do stuff like that. They gave you like those levels sort of to fight with.
I mean, it's very hard to do.
Yeah,
so I'm sure that's why. So man, this caught my eye long. I mean, they've been running trailers for this for a couple of years.
Yep. This is coming on March 12th.
Yeah, this is definitely high on my list of most anticipated.
Yep.
Might be third or fourth, like honestly, for the year from what we know about right now.
Yeah, it's coming on March 12th for PC and Xbox. I also believe it's coming to Game Pass. I think pretty much every game we're going to talk about here, at the very least, is a Game Pass game. There's a couple games we're going to talk about that are multi-platform, but they're also coming to Game Pass, and so we're going to put them in here talking about Xbox and Game Pass. But yeah, this game comes out on March the 12th, and it's only coming to PC and Xbox. I did not check the price on this to see what it's going to be if you want to pay for it, but
I'm going to guess this is $40.
Because here's the thing now. With Game Pass costing $30 a month, Matt, we have to be a little more careful when we say, just get Game Pass for a month to play it.
Oh, I'll never say that again.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't say that anymore because most indie games are $30 or more.
Also,
and
who knows what's going to happen? I mean, especially with given how all the streaming shit is going and all, it's like, I'm certainly back around to having physical media for movies I want now, because you never know where that's going to go. I actually went through a round of picking up all the Toho kaiju movies I don't have on disc yet this last couple of weeks. I'm just going to complete that collection in the expectation that this is all... Because you can't find them anywhere streaming anymore. They all went away.
Yeah.
Except Criterion, and I don't want to subscribe to Criterion once a year so I can watch Godzilla every once. So that's a very weird reason to subscribe to the Criterion channel.
I won't judge.
So obviously I don't think there's going to be physical copies of this, but certainly I would rather own it digitally and be able to install it whenever I want.
Vincent has jumped in and let us know that there's no price for Replaced on Steam yet.
Yeah.
So they have not actually announced the price for this.
My guess would be $40, but they could certainly go higher if they feel like it. It's been in development long enough. They probably need to recoup a few things, but I would imagine this would come to PlayStation and Switch eventually.
Yeah. It definitely can run on Switch 2 and Switch probably, so yeah. I mean, you have to be an idiot at this point to not put out your game multi-platform.
Yeah, I assume it's on PC and Xbox just because of bandwidth at this point. Like and afterwards they'll start working on it.
Or it could have been a case where Microsoft approached them early and was like, "Hey, we want you guys on Game Pass."
I'm sure that was part of it, but I'm sure if they could launch on everything at once at this point, they would.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. So anyway, that is Replaced. It's announced for PC and Xbox. It's coming on March 12th. Next up, a game that was blown out in the developer direct. It is Forza Horizon 6, our first real look at this game.
I was right. This is May.
It is May. It is coming out on May 15th. It is coming to PC and Xbox as well in May. And then they even took the time to announce it is coming to PlayStation 5 in the fall. So you're going to get about a 6-month exclusivity window on this game on Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. Is that enough, Matt?
Enough for what?
To make Game Pass viable.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm
just asking though.
I think it's the gap is purely to let Forza Horizon 5 sell more copies.
You think
in
so?
The meantime. I think that's good. I think it's to make sure they've
milked it for all.
To make sure they've run that dry on PlayStation 5 before they put the next one out. I don't think it has anything to do with Game Pass.
Really interesting. Yeah. Well, how do you think it will impact Game Pass if it's only exclusive for 6 months? I don't think it matters. No.
The thing that impacts Game Pass the most is how much the fucking thing costs per month now.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
for the amount of money it's costing per month and the dearth of exclusives per month, why wouldn't you just pay twice that and own it?
Yeah,
especially because this is a game you'll play for years.
You will play it for years. I just played Forza Horizon 5 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 5 is still great.
I still fire it up every once in a while and just play it for a while.
I'm sure most of the people that love Forza Horizon 5 and are about to buy this game have not finished Forza Horizon 5's content.
Yeah, maybe
because it's so damn much.
Yeah.
The only thing I hope about this one is I hope the expansions go back to being crazy.
Me too.
The Hot Wheels stuff is the best thing they've ever done.
I thought that was some of the best stuff that they put out for these games.
Absolutely.
And to answer my own question, I think 6 months is plenty. Yeah. I think that's enough to convince people to subscribe to Game Pass instead of going somewhere else.
If you're going to do that. I certainly wouldn't want to wait 6 months to play this.
Yeah.
But that's me.
And I think that's enough.
But I'm not going to subscribe to Game Pass. I'm just going to buy it.
Right. Yeah. But I think for most people who are excited for a game like this, I think 6 months is enough to keep them from being like, well, I'm just going to wait and get it on PlayStation.
And Retro Modern Gamer says that the official reason it's not on both platforms at the same time is they didn't have the bandwidth to do both versions at the same time.
Oh, really? I didn't see that,
but as he says, if you want to believe that.
Yeah. I didn't see that, actually. I didn't see that note.
I do remember seeing that, and I don't remember who said it. It was some interview or something. It was before the showcase they did with this.
So you're seeing the B-roll right now. I went... So if you watch the showcase, I did a lot of work, man. I went in and clipped out all the gameplay out of a 20-minute presentation. So it was a lot of work clipping this stuff out so you guys could see it. But other than watching the footage and listening to kind of the things that they said, they didn't really share anything that was kind of groundbreaking about the game.
Yeah, they didn't really tell you why this is, what this does to earn the 6.
Yeah.
Other than being in Japan.
It's in Japan, which is a great setting. They said there's going to be 550 cars at launch.
They're going to give you 30 of them for buying the VIP version, and you only use 2 for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, actually.
That is how it works, yeah.
That's kind of how Forza Horizon
And you'll spend the whole rest of the game just getting all these cars as gifts, so you're just like, yep, never going to drive that.
That's true.
Thanks for the
thanks
for the 40th Honda.
All that stuff. Barn finds. I hardly ever drive those cars.
What are there barns in Japan?
There's got to be.
Are there barns in Japan?
There'll probably be something else.
What will they
temples
be?
Or something.
Shrine finds?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. So there's
who's parking cars in the Shinto shrines? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Seriously.
That's not where they go.
Well, here's the thing. So they hired the right person to work on this game. So I've talked many times on GameFace and elsewhere about the documentary that I did with Team Ninja for Ninja Gaiden Sigma. And the fixer that we took with us from here in LA was this girl named Kyoko Higo. She used to be the head of PR at Square before it was Square Enix. And she was just a good friend of mine for years and years. And so I had her come along, and she was our fixer for that documentary. So she translated between us and Team Ninja when there was a language barrier. When we went out places to shoot, she would talk to the people to make sure that we're okay to shoot, that kind of stuff. And she was the central figure in that presentation for this game. They hired her to make sure they are not doing stuff like parking cars in shrines. And I think that they will do it right because they are working with Kyoko.
Yeah,
so
Kyoko was one of the best.
That was a very smart hire. Like, I haven't actually heard from her. Like, we emailed back and forth for years. But But I hadn't heard from her in like 5 or 6 years. I thought she left the industry.
So did I.
So to see her in that, I was like, wow, there's cool. Kyoko. That's great to see. So anyway,
Square, for whatever fault you may have for Square, they had great PR.
They did.
Her, Kyoko and Sonya were two of the best PR people.
Yep. So anyway, she is working on this game, so I trust 1,000,000% that they're going to handle the Japanese angle of it very, very well and with kid gloves. So 550
as
cars
opposed to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. The only other thing that they really talked about that I was kind of like, okay, that seems different, is the building stuff. And like, they've had like your home base before, and you go back and you build out your apartment or your house or whatever. They've taken it to the next level here. You can build it, and it appears in the open world, and other people can come and cooperatively build stuff with you, which is a pretty big shift forward. But I don't know if were people really using that in the first place. Like, I never got all
I
that
honestly
wrapped
forgot
up in it.
that was a thing in the other games. I mean, I know you had like a place, but I mean, when I think of Forza Horizon, I still kind of default to like 1 and 3.
You're just seeing it now.
1 is probably still my favorite in a lot of ways. It's just pure.
It is. Yeah.
In a way that the others. Also, I had my favorite soundtrack.
Well, the whole festival thing hadn't become rote yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been a little too bro-y for me, but it's just like, all right, kids. And it's funny. It's funny to think that like the kids they were trying to appeal to with Forza Horizon 1 are like 38.
Yeah,
now.
they're they're like hitting middle age at this point. But yeah, you have customer garages. You saw that in the B-roll just there a second ago. But you also have like an estate, and it starts off like all overgrown, and then you build it into like this impeccable estate that you live in.
Japan, famous for its undeveloped land.
Yeah. Destruction is permanent and can be viewed by other players and friends, which I thought was kind of interesting. So there is kind of a persistent world that's being built here for this, which is, if you're the developers, that's a big deal.
Erebus Jones says they showed the barn finds in the preview. Apparently, you're not finding them in barns. You're just stealing them out of people's driveways.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. They talked a lot about accessibility stuff. Like there's going to be a proximity radar. There's going to be auto drive. There's going to be a customizable high contrast mode, stuff like that. There's street races where you just can join up. Like, you can come around a turn, and you can see a race happening, and you can just slide into the race, and it picks you up and says, now you're in 8th place, and you just start that race, which is pretty cool. Like, that, you couldn't really do that before either. It was always this thing where you had to, like, start the race with everybody, finish the race with everybody.
It kind of feels like joining the marathon in mile 16, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know how they actually are going to, like, account for that. Yeah, they didn't go into much detail about it, but they showed it
driving a Bugatti
times.
and you come across, like, a race of Hondas. You're like, oh, I'm in here. Right?
Datsun B210s.
Here's a Gundam.
Yep. And then there's going to be like 12-car drag races.
Like that's the thing I want to know about.
What?
Is the Gundam that steps in.
Oh, yeah. They just show that very briefly there. And I think they did talk about it in interviews afterwards a little bit, but not a lot. But there's going to be those...
That's the kind of thing I mean when I'm like, for the expansion, go nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I want Godzilla in that expansion. Yeah. Let's go crazy.
Yep. There are street races, as I mentioned, that you can just join out of nowhere. How do you pronounce it? Toge battles? T-O-G-E?
Toge.
Toge? Is that it? I never remember how to say it properly.
The E it depends how you're romanizing it, but the E in Japanese romanized to English is usually e.
Yeah.
So Toge battles.
They're in there. There's time attack circuits.
D. It's initial D is what it is. Initial D battles.
Yep. There's time attack circuits in the open world that have no loading at all. As I said, there's 12-car drag races. You can build stuff anywhere, and the building is multiplayer. And again, it's coming on May 19th to Xbox and PC, and then PS5 later in the year, presumably in the fall. So, overall, what are your impressions of this?
Very pretty. Yeah. definitely Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
Give it to me now.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna, this is a pretty known quantity.
Yeah.
Really. I like all of these. I don't really like this. Well, I can't remember which one I don't like. I don't like the second one that much, I think.
Is that in Australia?
Is that the Australian one?
No.
That's Australia's the third one,
yeah,
right?
I think, yeah. I don't remember what the second one was.
It was like Colorado.
I don't remember.
Something.
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
England.
Mexico.
And Hawaii. Hawaii was one of them.
Was it?
Wasn't Hawaii one of
No,
them?
Hawaii is for the Crew Motorfest.
Oh,
which is the knockoff.
Italy.
Of,
there was one that was like
was
Mediterranean.
It
was like a Mediterranean one.
Oh, yeah.
That I thought was sort of
yeah,
meh.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think that was the one I thought was meh.
Yeah. I think Japan will be a good setting.
Japan's a great choice.
Yeah.
Because the last one was Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
I liked England.
Yeah. I mean, I've really liked them all, honestly.
I did. It was just the Italy one, I think, that I was kind of. It just felt. Some of it felt like a retread. It felt like too expected.
Yeah.
'Cause Italy's in everything.
I'm a little disappointed in this
Racing-wise.
and that there isn't more groundbreaking stuff, but I don't care. I'm still going to play it for like 60 hours.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really need to break
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
In this, Forza's a solved problem.
Well, especially now that they got the PlayStation audience hooked on it.
Yeah.
Like, you
Also,
definitely
like-
don't want to change it too much.
Also,
now.
don't fuck with it, especially after what happened with the last normal Forza Motorsport.
Retro Modern Gamer says Italy was the second one.
Second one, the second one I think
Yeah.
is the one that like France or Italy. Yeah, that's the one I didn't love.
Well, it's the one we don't remember. So
Right.
there you go. That kind of explains it all. So anyway, if you still have not played Forza Horizon, you're a PlayStation owner and you didn't get 5, like this is something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And you maybe pick up 5. Like, are they selling it for full price? I think they
Probably.
are.
Probably.
Yeah. So
Although,
would you
you
recommend they pick up 5 or wait for 6? Because you get all the DLC and everything with 5 already.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough one.
I mean, I think it comes down to what setting you're more interested in.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather play the Mexico one or the Japan one?
And
Like,
6 isn't that far away. We're like 4 months away from
Nah,
it.
it's
So
well,
I'd probably go
if
6.
you're on PlayStation, you're waiting longer.
Oh, yeah.
obviously.
You got to wait for the whole year, basically.
Gotta wait till November. But
PlayStation, I'd say pick up 5.
yeah, I mean, there's enough time between now and then.
I have a whole year to play. Yeah. Presumably. We still
Yeah.
don't know the actual hard date for the PS5 version of Forza
Right.
Horizon 6. So we'll see where that is. But everyone seems to think it's going to be fall, which makes sense. So anyway, there you go. That's Forza Horizon 6. Next up, a game that I don't think anybody saw coming. It is a brand new game from Double Fine called Kiln. It is basically a MOBA where you play as pottery.
Sure.
If I had to define it in a sentence, that's what I would describe it as.
Those Double Fine guys,
I mean,
they're doing stuff over there.
I'm shocked that this was greenlit.
I mean, that's just what they do.
Yeah, I mean, that is Double Fine. When you bought them, you kind of assume this was the kind of stuff you're going to deal with.
It's just sort of the whole thing. Like, Double Fine's whole catalog is just like, I don't know who thought this would be successful, but I'm glad it exists.
Well,
Like,
last
it's-
time we played as a lighthouse.
Right.
And now we're playing as a piece of pottery. Mm-hmm. It is a MOBA, so basically what you're doing is you're trying to haul water from your end of the map to the other end of the map, and then use that water to douse their base. And the first team to completely douse the other team's base wins. Now, the way they have it set up is that the pathways to get from one side of the map to the other are restricted by size. So only certain pottery sizes can use certain lanes on the MOBA map. And that's how they make sure that you can't just send this gigantic jug of water from one side to the other and just win the match with one big dousing of water, I'm assuming. But, again, I like MOBAs. I'm kind of predisposed to like them. I'm a big League of Legends fan before I had to kind of cut myself off cold turkey. And I liked Dota 2, and I like the new one from Valve. I don't know about this, Matt.
I mean, it's you want creativity and innovation. Here you fucking go.
Well, definitely creativity. I'm not so sure about innovation, though you do kind of...
molding your own character by size that can
Yeah.
determine which lanes you can fit through, that's innovative.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's innovative.
Definitely innovative, yeah. But anyway, this
Having to carry your own water to bring, I mean, that's all new twists on the MOBA thing.
Yeah.
Like, again, not really my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But
It's it's Double Fine. It does manage to come up with crazy ideas, and then it executes on them, and usually does a really good job executing on them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're into MOBAs where you play as pottery, this is probably going to be the best one ever
yeah,
made.
The Snoop Dogg of game dev. Keep coming up with funky ass shit like every single day.
That's pretty great. This is coming spring of 2026, and this is coming to like everything. Like I think this is even coming to Switch or Switch 2. It's a multiplayer.
It feels like
game.
a pretty solid Switch choice if you're gonna pick a platform.
I mean, it's a multiplayer game. You need to get those out to as many people as possible. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna see exclusives for multiplayer games again.
Like, this feels like something Nintendo might pull out of its ass too. I mean,
for sure.
It's
or they'd show it and then you'd never see it again.
You never see it again. Yeah.
But Double Fine's gonna release it. So anyway, it is coming to everything. I don't think we're going to see even PlayStation multiplayer games are all coming to Xbox at this point. Still haven't seen any on Switch 2, but maybe that'll change in the next like 18 months or so. But yeah, generally, I think most multiplayer games are going to be multi-platform going forward, and Kiln is no different. I'll say this, though. Xbox is definitely getting their money's worth with Double Fine. If they bought them to have unique ideas, they're getting them. So again, that's called Kiln. It's coming spring 2026 to pretty much everything. Next game. Actually, it's not coming to Switch. It's coming to all platforms but Switch. So like Xbox Series and Xbox One, PS5 and PS4, but not Switch, which is weird. I think eventually it'll come to Switch too, probably. Yep. Next up, a game that
Kiln Champion Edition.
Yes, you're right. Yep. Next up, a game that is also not really an Xbox exclusive, but it is coming to Game Pass day one. I was really surprised to hear about this, and that is Beast of Reincarnation. This is a new... Well, it's an action RPG, but it also has turn-based elements to it. And
is the Pokemon people?
Yes. And one of the
proof
coolest...
that it can do graphics?
Well, here's the thing, Matt. So as it turns out, Game Freak is not doing the bulk of the development. It is working with a bunch of external studios. It's guiding the development, but the external studios are doing a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of the work while they handle kind of the creativity and the decision-making. Which is fine, because if you've seen Game Freak's other games, it's probably good that they're partnering with other
like
developers.
Does Game Freak have like a clause in their lease they can't do first shading in the building?
Know.
Or what is the...
I don't know. But this game looks crazy, actually. One of the cooler things, though, Matt, was the developer doc for this. We got to go inside Game Freak. Think about how many games that publisher or that developer has made for Nintendo and Pokemon Company. They've never done it behind the scenes, ever. No clips never been allowed to go in there. Nobody's ever been allowed to go in there. But Microsoft is like, we're going to feature your game in our developer direct. Come on in. And they literally showed inside Game Freak, and it looks completely different from what I thought. Like, it's all bougie and nice. I thought Game Freak was going to be another one of those Japanese developers down in a basement where everybody's smoking, chain smoking cigarettes, and it's all dingy and nasty. No. Game Freak Studio in Japan is very, very nice.
Probably is, and they just have like one room that's nice.
It's like the front.
Where like they did up one room for the video, and everyone else is in the back, like in a closet. Like, don't move until they're gone.
Yeah. Well, as you're seeing right now, this game she can control plants and vines and things like that. And so you can see she uses them for traversal, like vines for attacks and things like that. There's a very... I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. What is something that's related to plants? Arbor related?
Horticulture?
Horticulture. That's the word I'm looking for. This is like all based on horticulture. Like the all of it. The lore behind it, the plot behind it, her origin story. It's all about that stuff. This has been in development for 6 years, which is crazy. It looks like a Souls-like. I have not figured out yet whether it is or not. The reason I think it might be is because everything is really dependent upon the parry. So she gains her vine abilities from parries. So once she parries an attack, it builds up her meter to be able to use her plant-based stuff. And so generally it feels like games that are kind of combat systems built on the parry, a lot of times are Souls-likes, but nobody asked them that question. So I don't know if it is or not. I've just been watching the media.
I mean, it doesn't really look like it. I mean, it looks more character action to me.
They call it an action RPG.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, that can mean anything.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm sure it takes some stuff from Soul. I mean, everything is Souls influenced to some degree at this point, especially stuff like this.
Yeah.
I like that it has an aesthetic that reminds me of the book of Electric State, not the terrible movie. But the book Electric State has that kind of like, deactivated mechs sort of standing in a misty sort of it has that sort of post-apocalyptic dead world thing going on, which is I like that. I think that looks cool.
This is set in 4026 Japan, so way in the future.
A little bit in the future.
Yeah. Most humans are gone because there is some parasitic plant that showed up called the Blight. Her job is to hunt down the blighted creatures called Malefax And then the bigger ones, the bosses, are called Nishi. And she fights them, and then she seals their blight inside her own body.
She's teaming up with Amaterasu, apparently.
Yeah. There's another race of enemies called the Golems in the game. They are humans whose souls have been trapped inside mechanical beings. So you're actually fighting humans, but they appear to be robots. And then your ultimate goal in the game is to defeat the Beast of Reincarnation. There's this gigantic monster that is attacking the capital of Japan, and it's your job to basically stop that and save Japan.
Feels like that's a pun.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
Like it's like a giant carnation.
Yeah, probably. On the play on plants and everything. Yeah. I would guess. So if you've been watching the B-roll, the lead character is a girl named Emma. Her white wolf is called Ku. You can control her vine-like hair for both combat and traversal. She uses and fuses with plants for all sorts of things. Ku is where the turn-based combat comes into play. So you can control Ku anytime you want. You can start a battle with Ku. You can have Emma start the battle if you want to. But when Ku gets involved in a fight, it is turn-based. So a menu pops up and you can choose the commands that you want from him, and the game pauses and slows down. It gives me some like Claire Obscure vibes, honestly. But then once Ku does his thing, and you're seeing it right here, once Ku does his thing, then Emma can jump in and finish him off with her fully active attacks.
Yeah, this seems a lot more Stellar Blade to me than anything like that
so?
kind of thing. I think it's got to be more of an action, character action kind of thing.
But you see, he also is sort of the magic character, so he can like debuff enemies. He can buff Emma. He can also attack as well or defend Emma. So it's kind of like that back and forth between using Emma, who is an active character that you can hack and slash with, and then Ku, who slows things down. You're seeing the skill trees right now. Both Ku and Emma have their own skill trees, and they said that the skill trees in this game play off of each other, so that if you decide to put points into Emma, it also helps Ku a little bit, and vice versa. So it's like, even though you're making a decision on which one to help, it actually also helps the other one at least a little bit. And I don't know if there's actually synergies ultimately between the two. They didn't really talk about that. What else is there? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all they talked about. It is coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So it's coming to Xbox Series and Xbox One, I think, and PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, and PC. And most importantly, while we're talking about it here, it's coming to Game Pass. And right now they're saying mid-2026. They haven't given a hard date yet. So I just plunked it in for June, which is why I have this in here after Forza Horizon 6, because we have a hard date of May 19th. So anyway, Beast of Reincarnation coming to Game Pass day one, but it is multi-platform in summer 2026. More excited or less excited for that game now that you know more about it?
About the same.
Really? I mean, my hype went up for that game a bit.
I mean, it looks about what I was expecting.
Yeah. The debut trailer did a pretty good job of kind of hinting at what it was about. I'm
kind of tired of the general sort of dark and gritty action combat RPG stuff at this point, but at least this isn't like another mythology remix.
At least it's not based on some Chinese mythology or whatever. It's Japanese mythology instead. But you're right. But at least it does feel like these games are all starting to blur together a little bit.
It's got a little more near to it than like Journey to the West.
Just having the wolf sets it apart from all those other games. So I hear you. Those games are starting to bleed together for me, though. Like they're all starting to look the same.
I keep seeing people like, is China the new leader in game development? Not until they break out into a different genre for a change.
Because they're all the same.
It's all. I mean, I'm sure they could be. I mean, they're absolutely poised, but it's like I need to see them do something other than Souls-likes and character action.
Yeah, because that's all they've done so far.
I understand that's probably the easiest thing to get greenlit or the easiest sell overseas. But like, I think you're ready to try weird shit. I'd love to see like a mascot platformer out of one of those teams.
I mean, technically, they've kind of caught up with the West.
Agreed, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, their games look great. So
like let's see one of those teams over in China like tackle like a Bethesda game.
Right.
Like there got to be somebody over there can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
I have no doubt in my mind.
There may be one in development already.
I want to see want to see what they're all about. I'm really interested in Crimson Desert. Yeah. For the same reason, like because that looks like more my kind of thing. I want to like an action RPG.
It's more Western oriented. Yeah.
Kind of Game of Thrones-y, but it's like and sometimes that's the best. You get from this culture that you don't really have a whole lot of contact with, and like their spin on this thing is really familiar. Turns out to be really cool. Because one time that happened, it was called The Witcher.
Yeah.
And like, because I don't know a lot about Poland, but like their spin on all that stuff was very familiar stuff, a lot of familiar gameplay ideas, a lot of familiar settings, a lot of familiar tropes.
Yeah.
But like it was different because it was through the eyes of a different culture, and like China feels ripe for doing, like give me your spin on like an open world sandbox RPG, and let's see what it turns into. Because
or a first person shooter or any.
I mentioned Bethesda because, like I say, no one else does Skyrim.
Yeah.
Only I mean, I know like Outer Worlds kind of, like Obsidian kind of takes a stab at them, but no one does them on the scale, scope, and ambition that like Bethesda does, and they could use some competition, frankly, because then maybe you can't take 12 years to make Elder Scrolls 6, right?
Seriously. And now Obsidian's a part of Microsoft, so they're not going to push anybody to do anything.
So I'm like, maybe if we get some competition up in here,
things get better.
They'll get off their ass.
Yeah.
Not to be too vulgar about it, but it's like, come on.
Seriously.
Like, why is it going to take 15 years to play Fallout 5?
I mean, not having a Fallout game ready for the Fallout TV show, 2 seasons.
Well, you saw that thing that went up yesterday for like 5 seconds.
Which one?
It was an article about the Fallout 3 remake that looked like it was talking about having it be shadow dropped.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's ready now. And it's like, what? And then it like got pulled down like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
And so we'll say,
where's the new Fallout game?
There's a lot of smoke on that Fallout 3 remake.
There is, yep.
We'll see.
Okay, next up is the game I think most people tuned into the developer direct to see, and that, of course, is Fable. As of right now, they're saying that it is coming out in the fall of this year. Q4 2026. They haven't committed to anything more specific than that. But this game's looking awesome. Yeah. And this is really the first time that we really got to look at it. And they really explain what's going on with this game. And I'll just say this, Matt. A lot of the decisions that I made in our fantasy draft where I had to choose, I chose between this and Gears of War E-Day. Wrong choice. Mm-hmm. Wrong choice. This game is going to out-review score Gears of War E-Day by probably 2 freaking points.
Well, I hope so. I mean, not because of my fantasy team, because I really want this game to be good.
Yeah. This game looks awesome,
because Fable, I always I do like all 3 of the Fable games, but they've never lived up to the potential of what Fable can do, and it feels like a lot of this is this team being like, we can do that, and I hope they pull it off.
I think maybe my one concern before we kind of start discussing the details is that it almost feels like Playground is trying too hard to make it feel like the game was made by Lionhead instead of kind of doing its own thing.
I don't really see much of that.
Well, they said that. They're carrying on the work of Lionhead
they said
and trying to be faithful to the original games.
But they're not going to be faithful to the original games because the characters don't look like shit.
Well, I think a lot of people would argue with you over that because a lot of people have hated that lead character they've been showing all this time.
Yeah, well, those are just dipshits.
Well, the funny part about it is it doesn't matter because you make your own character.
Well, right, but a lot of those same dipshits are just like, I see they added character creation to save us from... Like, no, you've always been able to create your own character in Fable. What the fuck is wrong with you morons? You people ever play a video game before? Fucking tourists. Get out of here.
And they said the question they're hoping to answer with this game is, what does it mean to be a hero? That sounds like something I heard about this game about Fable.
Same thing all the Fable games say. I mean, I guess Fable 3 was more about what does it mean to be a leader.
Yeah, but that's right. That's what it was.
But the first 2 were more. I mean,
that's what it was.
What they were.
So the premise of the game.
The other thing I can't believe is that you can't play Fable 2 and 3 on a modern system anymore. Really, they've been pulled down from Steam. There's no. They should. I mean, I know you probably don't want to remind everybody of Fable too much. And you just want pleasant memories of that vague thing you played. You don't want to actually remember what Fable 2 was like, I guess. But it would be nice to see in the wake of this, maybe eventually to get the Fable 2 and 3, get some remaster and love or something, because you can't really play those games very easily anymore.
It's true. The basic premise of the game is you begin as a child growing up in a rural village. Your powers first emerge, and you discover that you're the first hero of Albion in a generation. So, again, that's a very similar setup to what we've seen in prior Fable games. Basically, what happens is your family gets turned to stone by a stranger, and you set off to get revenge, basically.
Tekken Master, they are backwards compatible on Series X, but they don't sell them. The ones they sell on the ones you can play on backwards compatible. Fable 2 doesn't work right.
Yeah.
Fable 2 is awful.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant experience. Fable 3 works fine.
Yeah.
But also the PC versions have been delisted forever. Steam codes for Fable 3 and Fable 2 go for like $300-$400 because they pulled them down years ago.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I just think they should do some kind of like touch up or something on it.
Yeah. Well, this time Albion is a massive and truly open world. Finally, they've kind of teased it, like in Fable 3. They're like, it's an open world, but it really wasn't. It was close, but it really wasn't.
Like Fable 2 was pretty close.
Yeah,
I think Fable 3 was a giant railroad. I don't know if that's a universal opinion, but I always felt in Fable 3 like I was being herded down a path.
Yeah.
And Fable 1 obviously is just like little areas. Fable 2 almost pulled it off.
Yeah. Well, the open world is seamless, and you can go wherever you want, whenever you want. Ballastone is the capital city in the game. There's a Heroes Guild.
What is it?
Ballastone?
Shouldn't it be Bowerstone?
Is that it?
That was always the name of it.
Maybe I just misheard it then. Bowerstone?
Bowerstone is,
okay,
is
that's
the
probably
capital
it then.
in
You're probably
Fable.
right.
Yeah.
There's a Heroes Guild there. It's a huge city that's full of different contrasts, different types of people. And there's 1,000 NPCs in the world. And these aren't just NPCs that you talk to. These are NPCs that you can do everything with. So there's a big property angle in this game, just like there were in prior Fable games where you own property and you raise it up. They made a joke about how the big giant that you see in one of the early trailers dies. And part of the plot is like you have this rotting corpse in this neighborhood now that's like running off all the potential house buyers. So I guess the decision you make on whether he dies or not impacts your real estate prospects in the future, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's realism.
Yeah. A big giant just laying there rotting, basically.
Fable NIMBY. There we go.
Yep.
Hero indeed dislikes you because you evicted them. Yeah, that tracks.
And so these 1,000 different NPCs that you're seeing right here, they remember all the stuff you did, just like they always did in Fable games. But you can also like romance them, marry them, have 12 kids with them.
Yeah, Bowerstone, there it is.
Yeah, Bowerstone. Divorce them, marry like 6 other people. You could have like 1,000 kids in this game.
Yeah, I'm curious because like you could always do that in Fable 2 onward, but like it was all incidental. It never didn't matter. There was no depth to it.
Right.
It was just like something.
We're married now.
And then sometimes someone would find out and run up to you and cry, and
right.
that would be, there's no consequences, no nothing. If they make that more robust here, that could be a very interesting wrinkle.
Yeah. They said that the environments are extremely varied. There's mountains, coastlines, marshes, bleak cities. They said there's also 2 rival gangs out in the open world. Yeah.
Some of that stuff is very funny.
The English humor in this, I think, is going to be good.
Well, they're definitely keeping that right.
Yeah, they said that they're keeping it.
I mean, yeah, and people are like, oh, it's just like Lionhead. Like, well, it's just like British humor.
Fable.
It's not like that's not like Lionhead didn't invent that. Like that is just
it's Fable.
You got to have that.
That's the franchise. Yep.
Fable is interminably British, and you have to keep that.
Yep. You can customize your character head. It looks like the character customization is maybe a little limited.
I understand that because the body is going to have to be changing based on what you're doing in the game because they've always done that. Like whether you get a strong character and they build it up, etc.
You can still customize clothing, skin tone, and scars, but there's only X number of heads that you can choose from in the game. You can't just create your own face, basically. They also said that the weapons that you use throughout the game ultimately shape your character. They didn't go into much detail about that, but I found that was pretty interesting.
I would guess it's sort of like if you're swinging a warhammer around, you're going to become a stronger, more muscly guy or whatever kind of thing.
Which, again, harkens back to the first Fable, like what we thought we were going to be doing in that Fable that never really materialized. There's 3 characteristics for each character, so it doesn't look like the RPG elements are going to like knock you over and be completely overwhelming.
I guess Vincent says there's no body morphine anymore.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that is too bad.
Although the body morphing in the other ones was actually pretty terrible when you think about it.
Yep.
Like a maxed out Fable character just looked like a fat weirdo.
Yeah.
Like no matter because as soon as you put clothing on them, they looked very strange.
Yeah. You probably saw in the B-roll that melee, the way it works, you can knock enemies off balance and you can pull off a finisher once they're kind of staggered. You can do that with ranged weapons as well. The spells all happen in real time. They said that fan favorite enemies are coming back, the Hobbs, the Balveries, and the Trolls. And then they showed a bunch of combat. And to me, Matt, that was sort of the one red flag for me checking this out. And again, you don't know until you have the controller in your hands, but I do feel like I've kind of developed a sixth sense over the years to kind of watch combat and kind of see if it's going to feel good. The combat in this did not look great to me. It didn't look bad, but it didn't look great. That was kind of the one thing I saw, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Fable has never been...
It hasn't had
really
great
excelled
combat.
in that.
Yeah. You're right. More details on the open world. You can buy a house. You can get a job. You can make money. You can romance villagers. You can have kids. You can buy every house, you can buy every business, you can get rich, you can marry more people, have more kids. They say that there's ripple effects in all that stuff that you do. Obviously, the lowest hanging fruit for that is how everyone just mentions the things that you do when you walk by. But again, they've been doing that for a long time in Fable.
Yeah, I would like to see kind of a nemesis thing where, like, if you're too much of a dick to, like, your family, like one of your kids, like, grows up to, like, try to take revenge on you and things like that. I mean, I don't know if that's in the scope of this game, but I always thought that would be more interesting if there were actual, consequences in that regard.
The thing about the combat that has kind of set me off a little bit is that it seems like enemies don't react to your attacks until they're almost dead. Like, your first handful of attacks, they just kind of stand there.
It looks like some of them have some kind of, like armor bar. Like, there's a little thing above their normal health bar, and it's not until that depletes that they start flinching.
Start actually reacting to the hits.
Because you notice these guys don't have those.
Yeah.
And that guy's not reacting because you're hitting him in the armor.
Yeah.
But then he falls like that. So maybe it matters where you're hitting them.
Could be.
Because, like, it does look like the hits on his armor were not making him flinch. Because, like, you see the white bar on the bottom there?
Yeah.
That's not on all the enemies, so I'm not sure. I think that has something to do with whether or not you can...
I did notice.
So now you've staggered it because that bar is gone. So there's a little bit of Sekiro in there.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Now, the one thing that may anger people who are fans of Fable is there is a big element of the franchise that is gone in this game. And that is the whole good versus evil morality system. It is gone.
I'm kind of okay with that because that was always a little stupid.
Yeah.
Not that the concept was stupid, but the way it was implemented was always pretty ham-handed. And... especially in Fable 3, it kind of pissed me off because there's a bunch of things you get evil points for them. It's clearly not evil.
So I need to clarify. There is a morality system in this, but your character does not change based upon your morality.
Well, that's good, too, because that was also dumb.
Yeah, because basically all you ended up doing was just growing horns if you were bad.
You became evil, or you like get a weird halo over you, and it was silly.
But the morality system is in there. It's just subtle and kind of underneath the hood, so we'll see how people react to that. But, people who didn't play the first few Fables probably don't care. No. They're like, it's there.
I did play them, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's not a big deal.
I don't need. I mean, I used to do the thing in Knights of the Old Republic where you you deactivate the thing where the light side, dark side. It's like I don't need to look like I don't want my character to change because of the choices I'm making because that's not what happens in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe
you're just bad. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
There's some people that feel you look and it's like whoa.
Oh wow! Somebody's asked a crazy question on Twitch. They asked if you could fight while being pregnant if you play as a woman. My guess is they don't let you get pregnant if you play as a woman. Well, that'd be my guess.
I would imagine because you could in the others, and it basically just faded out and faded in, and you had a baby.
Yeah,
like you didn't run around pregnant,
right?
For any real length.
They'll probably do it the same way. What I'm getting at is I don't think they're going to let a pregnant woman fight somebody with a sword.
Well, maybe.
Maybe that would be kind of crazy, but we'll see.
If you wanna, you wanna.
Yeah. And then they said that the trailers that we've seen where they do like those office style interviews where like the British humor comes on really strong, those are in the game. That's not just for the trailers for the game. Those moments are in the game where you're going to have these sit down kind of confessional interviews like you get in a reality TV show. Those are in the game, which just seems a little strange, but it's Fable, so gives you a little more leeway. This franchise.
I mean, if you're not gonna have Stephen Fry commenting on everything the whole time, you might as well try something different.
Yep. And that's pretty much it. They just said Q4 2026 for PC, Xbox, and this game is coming day one for PlayStation 5. A lot of other games are not, but this one is. So I
think that's going to work out pretty well for them.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're going to sell 6 times what they'll sell on Xbox on PlayStation. Especially
because there's not really anything like this.
I mean, let's be honest. This game's kind of releasing exclusively for PlayStation 5 because nobody has an Xbox. So anyway, that's Fable, and I think that game is looking freaking awesome, Matt. I really regret drafting Gears of War EA over Fable. I even said it in the draft. I'm like, I just have this feeling that Fable is going to end up being something special. I had regret as soon as I made the pick, and sure enough, a few days later, there's the direct, and my worst fears were realized.
Well, I think this was either going to be like a 9 or a 6.
Yeah.
It was like one or the other.
I think it's more likely to be a 9. So Fable's looking real damn good. I don't know if you guys were as impressed with it as I was. I saw somebody in chat say that they thought it looked generic, and I could kind of understand where you made it say it looks like...
I think it does look like... I mean, it is using a lot of well-worn fairy tale, but I think like stuff like the Office style cutaways are what's going to differentiate.
And the humor
all that is the humor.
Yeah.
It's
well, there's also the kicking of the chickens and all the other little stuff that's scattered throughout the game. That all kind of adds up. So I think Fable's looking awesome.
I think enough time has passed since the other Fables, and you're doing a different team, a very talented team. Playground Games knows what they're doing. They brought in new people. They transferred people from the other team that like we're all Fable fans. I think you're dealing with a team that has enough time and distance from the other games that they knew these are people that played those games. They know what worked, what didn't, what should be.
Did you see the one guy who was
because it's like I think you're going to get a take on this that Lionhead maybe could never have done because they would have been too close to the material because it was their own.
Yeah.
I think this is sort of what you needed, and I'm not saying it worked out very well. But sort of like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek reboot, where it's like you kind of need someone who didn't have attachment and preciousness to all this stuff to come and be like, we're going to do all this, we're going to change this, move that over here, put this over here, and now you're ready to go do new Star Trek adventures. Awesome. Then we're not going to do that. But like, you know what I mean? It's like you need someone with a little more. It's going to be a little more ruthless about what you cut, what you don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I'm sure not letting you morph into an angel or a demon was a pretty tough choice.
Yeah, for sure.
But like,
they probably prototyped it first.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I think that's the right.
I
think that's the right pick. It's just weird. It's just a weird thing, especially with graphics that look like that.
Yeah.
If you're walking around looking like Satan, and you don't have people reacting to that.
Yeah.
Like, what is that going to be?
Because you're right. You'd have to do that for every character.
But then
different shades of the morality.
Right. And then if they're not reacting to that, it's ridiculous. Because, like, then what's even the point? But if they are reacting like that, how do you even play the game anymore?
Right.
So it's like, I think it makes more sense to
I
do
agree.
it the other way.
Yeah, I think you're right. So anyway, that's Fable, and I'm very jealous that it's not on my fantasy team. But you guys can all fix that on yours when you guys go and make your picks for the SIFTD Fantasy Challenge.
Yeah, maybe you get lucky and it slips to next year.
That was what I was going to get at. How confident are you that it's going to come this year?
I'm pretty confident. Like, they don't have anything else in the pipeline there. And
well, we're going to talk about 3 games here in a second that are all announced for 2026 that we do not have hard dates for. So that may change your perspective a little bit, but I would say 80% certainty.
I was going to say 80.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
where
80%.
I'm at. Yeah. Next up, so I just said there's 3 games that are big games that they're supposed to come out in 2026. We don't have hard dates for, and these are in alphabetical order. The first one we're going to talk about is a game I wish I could have drafted on my fantasy team, and that is Clockwork Revolution. This game looks freaking awesome to me.
I forgot about this in terms of like picking it for this year.
Yeah, it is 20. Again, their trailer says 2026. We all know that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could very well be delayed out of 2026, but as of right now, that's when it's supposed to come out. This game looks incredible. Like,
well,
no?
I'm going to need to see more on this one because, like, we've been burned by these Bioshock-alikes in the past, including by Bioshock itself.
That's true.
So.
That's a good point. Do you think this is an immersive sim?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured that out yet.
I mean, in terms of aesthetic and approach and tone, they're clearly taking influence from Bioshock. I don't know what kind of game this is going to be.
Yeah. Well, I think they're saying it's an action RPG, but all those genres are getting like blurred together. And
Vincent says it doesn't say 2026; it says in good time.
Oh, really? I thought it was 2026. I googled this and everyone said 2026.
I mean, a lot of stuff says 2026. I mean, you look at Wikipedia and its list of a bunch of stuff under 2026. It's just like clearly not. Like, you know, I think Wikipedia might have. Last I looked, Wikipedia had Elder Scrolls in 2026, which doesn't make any sense.
I thought for sure that they said 2026 for this, though.
I don't know. I didn't see this one.
The first trailer for it, I think it did say, and it had no date. But
maybe it did, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Actually, let me go to the end of this trailer, and we'll just look at it. Because we don't need to watch the whole thing. We're about to move on here.
This was not on my radar for the draft at all.
Yeah. I mean, I would have never drafted it. But I wish I could have. Like, if it comes out this year, I would want this game on my team.
I don't know, man. I mean, visually it looks cool, but, like, these guys, I mean, this could just be Atomic Heart all over again or whatever that was.
Atomic Heart's not bad, though.
It's not, but it didn't review very well.
Yeah. I mean, it got like a 7.5, I think. Something like that.
I mean, I guess it's like a 9th pick or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's where you're at certain points. Actually, it doesn't have a date at the end of that trailer at all. It just ended without a date. So, anyway, all the research I did said 2026, but I would say the chances of it actually coming out in 2026 are probably 50-50. So, I would say the chances of Fable are much higher than that game coming out. Next up, a game that for sure has been announced for 2026, and that is Gears of War E-Day. I did draft this on my fantasy team. There hasn't been a new Gears of War game in like 8 years. Also notice that they stopped just calling it Gears.
Right.
because they did that for Gears 5.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to drop Gears of War. Gears 5 was kind of a failure, and now they're going back to using the whole Gears of War title for this one. This is a prequel to Gears of War, and it's smart because it brings back all the people that most players actually care about. Because that's what happened with the last couple Gears. They started going off on this tangent with the younger people, and nobody knew who they were. They didn't care who they were.
Which it was an interesting story.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a bad way to go about it, but it's like people just, you know, there's some franchises have a hard time moving on from their initial characters, and this is one of them.
Games like that where you change the characters, I feel like those games need to get a 9 or higher, or the fans, a certain percentage of the fans are going to bail on it. You need to tell them, look, this is new characters, but it's really good. If you don't tell them that, I think they bail.
I mean, those games were pretty good, but they're also like kind of not anything different than what you've already
They're
played.
generic, yeah.
Like,
They had new weapons and stuff like that, but otherwise,
sorta, it's just, you know,
it's a stop and pop shooter still.
Just gone on and on.
And this is going to be the same too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't. Like, I'm interested in this in the sense that, like, a prequel that shows Sarah before it was destroyed is interesting to me because I think it's a cool environment. But in terms of doing another, like, 9 hours of this fucking thing, I don't know. Like, I enjoyed the Gears 1 remake from last year.
I liked Gears 5. I had a blast playing Gears 5.
It's just, I just feel, I don't know. When I think about this, it's like, if it's on one hand, it's like, oh yeah, I like that. But on the other hand, it's the idea of, like, eating, like, mediocre pizza again.
I mean, the stop and pop shooter, it's kind of done. Like, it's not like other people are really doing it. Other developers are doing it at this point.
It's also it's still so weird to me that almost nobody rips off the active reload thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's so rare.
It's still, I mean, it is becoming more frequent now. Like, I've played a couple
Here and
games
there. Star
in
Wars
the last
Outlaws
2 years,
did it,
but
a couple other.
there's not enough.
But I remember I asked Cliff about that, like, one of the last times I saw him, and he was like, I don't know, man. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought everyone was going to steal it, and nobody does it.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it hard to do? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
just a concept, really.
Concept, yeah.
I'm excited for this. I'm not as excited for this as I am for Fable now after I saw the presentation of Fable.
I would
Just the truth.
I would never describe how I feel for a Gears of War game as excitement, really. Like, it's just like, oh yeah.
Oh, Gears
okay.
2, I was definitely excited for.
Oh, Gears 2, sure. But, like,
Yeah.
after Gears 2, I think that was kind of
it
for me.
Erebus makes a funny joke. He said it's their anniversary year. Gears, Forza, Fable, and Halo, just the way it was meant to be. That's right, because forever it was like Gears, Halo, Forza. Gears, Halo, Forza. And now this year is back to their old repetition that they had for like almost like 12 years straight. It felt like those were the only games they were releasing. So I'm excited for this, but I am more excited for Fable now that I've seen more about Fable. But again, I feel like, Matt, this is kind of the last chance for the Gears franchise.
Yeah, probably.
And so hopefully they're pulling out all the stops. We'll see. But
I mean, you're leaning hard on the idea that, I mean, we kind of know how this one ends, right?
Right. You do. I mean, you know where it's all headed. That's for sure.
And can you get multiplayer? You know, can you get like a substantial multiplayer population out of this thing anymore? I don't
think so. I don't think so at all. Nope. I think those days are over. So that campaign better be damn good.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then the final game that's supposed to come out this year that we don't have a hard date for yet is Halo Campaign Evolved, which is a rework of the campaign from the very first Halo game. This is multi-platform, coming out to PlayStation.
I mean, this has to come out this year because it's the anniversary.
For the anniversary. Yeah. So this is the game that I'm wondering if they needed something to bump Fable. This might be the one that they would put in Fable's place.
Sort of, but it's so not a replacement for Fable. Like, it's a completely different
they're so
audience.
different. Yeah. There is no replacement for Fable, really, on
I
the
feel like
roster.
if you can put Fable out in November and you can put this out in... Maybe you don't put it out in November because that's when Forza would be on PlayStation. I don't know. This feels like a September to me.
Because, again, this is coming out to PlayStation as well. So they have to start thinking about, like, not just staggering their games for Game Pass and their console, but now making sure you're finding windows on PlayStation 5.
Well, and also you want to keep this away from Call of Duty, right?
Uh-huh. That's true as well.
Because Call of Duty is going to eat it.
Now, keep in mind, this is just a campaign, so it's not like a big multiplayer suite or anything like that.
Right, but shooter's a shooter.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I think there's definitely a market and interest for this. Like,
oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm interested in playing a version of Halo 1 that
Hell
doesn't suck. You know, like,
yeah.
Not that Halo 1 sucks, but it's like going back to that one's hard.
I don't want to play the library again the way it is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. So anyway, this could be a big Q4 game for Xbox.
Just a version of Halo 1 that's not like go all the way here and then go all the way back. Like, if the way back is a different set of environments, like you've already improved that game.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think
100%.
no matter what, this is going to be better than the OG campaign.
I hope so.
I don't think it'll be that difficult to make that happen. So
No.
I'm pretty excited for this. I'm guessing most people are. PlayStation fans who have never played Halo on a PlayStation console, I'm guessing they're at least a little interested. So this could be a big Q4 game, but again, we have no release date for this at all. But of course, it'll also be day one on Game Pass. Blah blah blah. Like every game we just talked about.
We'll see.
Every game day one on Game Pass.
I don't know how to feel about this one. Like it's just like it really did look kind of iffy when they showed it, but it like feels like it has to come out this year because of the anniversary.
As they said this year.
It's 25. I mean, you got to make the 25th anniversary of this thing, but like if you release it broken, it's gonna be yet another like disaster. You know, just like, can 343 get anything out the fucking door?
I'm starting to wonder. That's a good point, actually.
I don't know,
Coalition
man.
too. Coalition's been working on this Gears game for 8 freaking years. Like, what the hell's going on over there?
Something must have been canceled. I mean,
something had to be
over there. There must have been something else in the interim there.
So look, they've had plenty of time to work on the new Gears. This, we don't know how long they've worked on it at all. They haven't really talked about it.
The confusion over what to do with Halo now is just
it's kind of sad, honestly. It really is, but it is what it is. People don't like Halo like they used to. It's just another first-person shooter now, although I would argue it still does have its own character among other shooters. None of them still play like Halo or look like Halo.
But like, sometimes there's a reason nobody else is doing something.
That's a good point. So anyway, there you go. That's the preview for Xbox in 2026. There's 2 other games that are kind of floating out there that no one knows what's going on with. State of Decay 3 is one of them. That apparently was not canceled.
No, it's still in there.
It's still out there.
I mean, as long as that developer isn't shut down, I assume that game is still happening in some respect.
Yep, and then OD from Kojima. So,
wow.
And we probably won't see that for the next Xbox. So.
No, we'll see in 2030 or something.
But I will say this, like we've now previewed PlayStation 5, Switch 2, and Xbox / Game Pass, and I think this is probably the best lineup of the 3.
From what we know about, what we know, I mean,
it's a shame. That
I think
if
you reveal the latter half of the year for PlayStation and Switch, you're gonna have a strong.
Yeah, because we don't really know what's coming for those yet, and Microsoft Xbox has kind of shown us.
They kind of laid
it
all out.
Yeah,
so.
But based upon what we know so far, it's a pretty good year for Game Pass and Xbox. So we'll see how it goes.
Or PlayStation.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Most people are going to play these games on PlayStation 5.
Yep, that's true. That's the truth. I mean, at the end of the day, these are all like PlayStation exclusives now.
More or less.
I mean, they really are. So it'll be interesting to watch as the year goes on. Again, I think by the end of the year, all Xbox's games will be announced for all platforms on day one. I
think Forza's the last one.
Yeah, that'd be my guess too. So anyway, it's looking like a pretty great year for Xbox, other than their finances and Game Pass. Although $30 a month is a lot, even for this lineup of games.
I mean, if they can staunch the bleeding from the hardware side of their business, and really lean into reasonable expectations in terms of what their revenue is going to be going forward, now that they're selling on all platforms, everything should be fine.
Yeah,
really. I mean, you just gotta, you gotta make that pivot.
Yep, it's true. All right. It's time to move on. We're going to talk next about probably at least it's the game that everybody is talking about the most.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Really, big seems like a strong word.
Oh, actually,
remember everyone in the entire population of Australia except one person was playing it at launch.
What does that mean?
It was somebody was photoshopping like Steam numbers to show like 5 million but it was the entire population of Australia except for one person at launch, and he's like, I don't know what one guy in Australia is not playing this, but you're missing out. Like, it was all like a big troll.
What happened to what's going on right here with the bottom of our screen?
That's the top of the monitor.
That has never happened before.
No.
Something got bumped maybe or something?
Maybe.
That's strange. We'll have to fix that when I run some B-roll here. Anyway, the game that we're talking about is a game called Highguard. You guys probably remember it because it was the one last thing at the Game Awards.
You probably don't remember its title, but you remember it. Yeah.
Matt, have you had a chance to play this at all?
No.
What are kind of your overarching opinions about Highguard and all the kind of stuff that's been happening since the game was announced and then disappeared and then kind of shadow dropped on its launch day? What are kind of your impressions of the whole thing?
I have no opinions about this game whatsoever because it's not, it's a multiplayer, free-to-play online. I mean, I was a little shocked that it's 3v3 because it had all these big open areas and like you get to ride horses and like it's big, but it launched as 3v3, and I think they're adding like a 5v5 thing, which I guess is only a limited time, but I would imagine it would become like a permanent thing if it becomes more popular. But I mean, when they showed this at the Game Awards, I thought it was just like, this is the most generic character shooter that I can recall in a very, very long time. I mean, if this had just kind of run in the general show, I don't think I ever would have thought about it again. And the fact that Jeff apparently on his own volition positioned it as the one more thing big finale reveal, I don't think did this game any favors whatsoever. Like, it's just, it isn't interesting or big or robust enough to support that. And for whatever reason, I think originally this game was going to come out and some few thousand people are going to play it, and it would slowly fade away and no one would really notice. And instead, millions of people watched it launch and do kind of sort of okay. And now, I don't think it helped it at all.
Matt, how do you feel about, because to me what happened with this game was people hated it before it ever launched.
Yeah.
It felt like there was like this hate campaign against this game after they had just watched one trailer and it was the last thing in the Game Awards. And the game, it felt like it had no chance.
I don't think it did. Well, part of it is because, like, I think when you see this as part of, like, the big, hype beast, like, big finale, one more thing in the Game Awards, I think all you see, to a lot of people at least, and I certainly see it, you see just, like, everything that's wrong with, like, kind of the game as a service model right now. It's like, here's another game that's just sort of a generic character shooter with like this weird free-to-play model that may or may not be wanting to sell you strange shit, and it's like using some sort of generic high-tech Norse mythology like twist on things, which certainly worked out real well for Too Human. Like there's a proven choice right there, and like there's nothing there. There's no there. It would be fine as sort of like an also ran thing, but it's not something that you would really want to like, hang the entire end of the show on. And I feel like people were taking out all their frustrations of like, I was disappointed by whatever for that wasn't shown or was shown or whatever from the Game Awards on this game as sort of a target for like, I hate game as a service. I hate, commercialized Game Awards show. I hate, Jeff hyping up things that don't interest me. Like I think that was sort of where people were with that.
Fatigue around this genre at this point, Matt. No matter how good something is, people are just going to be like, I don't care.
I don't think fatigue covers it. I think this is over. I think if you're still making one of these sort of like free to play like character shooter like raid kind of games, I think you are years behind the times. Like the people who play these kinds of games have chosen their games, and that's that. Like, I don't know who you think you're going to pull away from, whatever they're already playing with this. I don't know how I don't know how you would look at Arc Raiders and think, oh yeah, this game's got a shot against that. Like, it's just not there. I mean, even if it is free, like what is the plan here? Like, I don't see it.
I have been playing the game pretty consistently since it launched, and it's pretty damn good.
I mean, the pedigree of the developers is, I assume that's why, I mean, I'm sure he actually likes it from what he played of it before. I assume that's why Jeff like highlighted as much as he did, because it is, the developer pedigree is very strong.
Well, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the day after it launched, they took down made by former Titanfall
Respawn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that happened?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Uh-huh. Maybe they're saving it for their next one, which is going to turn out better.
Which will never happen. I like this game. Mm-hmm. And look, I do ultimately end up playing pretty much every major game as a service. I'm kind of an expert on them, actually. Now that
I mean, most of the people I've seen who have played it don't really have much hugely negative to say about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that struck me was that there was so much negative connotation around this game before anybody played it. I felt like it never really had a chance.
Like I said, I think people just sort of decided to use this as sort of the
de facto, I hate this.
Yeah, it kind of represents this whole genre to people now, because this is like, okay, and because it felt to a lot of people, and I understand. I don't think it's how Jeff intended it, but it felt like being told to be excited about this, frankly, pretty run-of-the-mill looking online game.
Yeah,
it's like people are like hoping for something as like, something on the level of like,
yeah,
I forgot.
what? I mean, that's the thing, though. Like,
no, I mean, I'm blanking on the name of the Larian game.
Oh, Baldur's Gate 3?
Not Baldur's Gate 3, the new
Divinity?
one. Divinity. Blanking on something on the level of that, or what things that are that anticipated, and instead you get just sort of this thing. And it's
Here's
like,
the thing, though. It's like, you say this thing. Like, this really is an innovative game as a service. Like, there's no other game that plays like this.
But nothing in that trailer gave you any hint of that.
Well, I mean, you can see that people are riding mounts.
Yeah, but then you see that it's only three people in this big. It's all empty.
But that's the thing, though. That's another misnomer about this game. Like, the whole 5v5 thing is bullshit. The game did not need 5v5. These maps are fine for 3v3 because of the mounts. The mounts are very fast, and the way they kind of jimmied the game so that the mounts just kind of run over some terrain. So it's not like you have to worry about jumping over every little brick or every little building or whatever. The mounts just kind of like run over them on their own. And you can get from one end of the map to the other. I didn't time it, but my guess is probably a minute and a half or something like that. Like, I never felt that the maps were empty playing 3v3. And you're right, they have added 5v5, and initially it was a test. And now they announced today that they're going to keep it, which is fine. Like, if people want to play 5v5, that's cool. But 3v3 was fine. And they knew it was fine because they've been testing this game for like a year or however long they've been testing it, and they knew 3v3 was fine. It is. Like, these maps are the perfect size for 3v3 if you know how to play the game. And aside from the mounts, which really do change everything. Like, it changes how you look at the map, how quickly you can get to places. And the other thing, too, is like, there's an option in the game where if you hold left on the D-pad, you can warp back to base at any time. So the size of the maps and the number of players, to me, was never an issue at all. I thought it was very well balanced for a 3 versus 3. And then you start talking about the actual game. I think, honestly, why maybe the average person who plays these types of games wouldn't like it is because it is a little more complicated. Instead of just going out and shooting the enemy, which is the way most of these games work, and maybe, your character has a different ult than the other characters, which these do too as well. But this is different because there's 3 phases to every match. Like, the first phase, you defend your base. You set up, you fortify windows and doors. You have each player has 5 that they can fortify, and you have a main generator and then 2 smaller generators, and they're inside rooms usually. So you fortify the windows and doors in those rooms, and they can still bust through them, but it just slows them down a little bit. So the first phase is you and your 2 teammates, you defend your base. You build up the walls and the windows so it's harder for the other team to get in. After that happens, this protective dome around your base disintegrates, and you're allowed to go out into the world. And once you got into the world, you're out there to collect resources. So you want to go grab armor, you want to collect weapons, you want to collect this currency that you mine from these blue, like, stones or whatever. And you can go and see the merchant if you want to and buy armor and stuff like that. But in the midst of all that, this gigantic sword appears out in the open world. And you guys, basically, both teams just race to get to this sword, and then you fight around the sword. So it's kind of like, there's your point-based sort of gameplay there, where you're fighting around the sword, trying to get the sword. If you win the battle, you take that sword, you go to the enemy's base, and you use it to shatter the defensive dome around their base. And once you shatter it, then a big battering ram comes in, and it shatters the whole thing. And then it turns into a raid. And then you and your 2 teammates try to raid their base and try to you can win 2 ways. You can take down the 2 smaller generators, which have shorter countdown clocks, or you can take down just the big main generator, which has a longer countdown clock. And you have X amount of time to do that. If you don't do it in that amount of time, you get kicked out of the base, and the whole cycle repeats over again until you have a winner. Eventually, it will go into overtime. The matches don't drag on that long. They do finally figure out a way to do it. But that's how the game works. And it is complicated compared to other games as a service. You have to give it a little bit of time. Like, my first day playing the game, I was like, this is cool. It looks really good, and it's fast and everything. But I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. I can understand the strategy and what I should be thinking about and how I should be approaching each match. Day 2, I started to get it, and that's when everything started clicking together. And that's when you realize how the mounts make such a big difference. You can see right here, you can fight on the mounts. What other games let you do that? You can attack the other team's mount and kill the mount, and then they're dismounted, and they have a cooldown before they can summon their mount again. And they're obviously at a huge disadvantage there. So I'll be honest with you, there's no other game as a service that plays like this. It's a shooter. You shoot a gun, and the bullet comes out.
That's one thing that I think is weird. It's like you've got all those things in the battering ram and all the special and all that, like the kind of the Norse mythology. and they're running around with like AK-47.
Yeah.
It's such a weird, like, that's the thing, is like your initial impression when you just look at this thing is generic shooter. Like if they were holding almost anything else that didn't look quite, even if they were just more fancy looking weapons, they don't look quite so much like normal Earth guns. Like that one, not this guy, but the last guy you were playing as.
It's basically just a machine gun.
It's literally just like fucking assault rifle. It's like, why don't they have like, I don't know, magic or, I mean, Overwatch did that. Like they had all like weird,
well, this
everybody
is
had their own weird ability.
The hero shooter, there's only 8 heroes.
Right.
That is my biggest complaint about the game. There are only 8 playable characters in this game at launch. And I'm sure, you know, like every game as a service, they're going to add them. You're going to have to pay for the new characters. I get like the design and why, but there's only 8. And that's crazy to launch a game with 8 playable characters.
I mean, that's kind of happening a lot around them. I mean, same thing with that, what was that 2XKO thing? Where it's like, you know, that's a tag fighter, and they only have like 10.
Which is crazy.
12. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you need a bigger roster. I mean, so basically, all but 2 of the characters are on the field in a game if you had 6 players, right?
Yeah.
So maybe less if the other team's playing the same character.
And you can't duplicate a character on your team either. And it has that thing where you have to like be first to select your character, kind of like League of Legends or whatever. Somebody selects it before you can't play as that character. That works for this too. So it definitely.
And with a roster that small, you don't have a lot of other options that might do the same thing you want to be able to do now that someone picked the character you wanted.
Exactly. So. And that's why it is my biggest complaint with the game. The other stuff that people are bitching about, I don't know what they're talking about. The game plays great. Like, again, I think there's a bigger learning curve than most games, so maybe some people play 2 matches, or like, I don't get this, they drop off. I don't know. But if you really stick with it, I think it's one of the better shooter-based games as a service on the market. We'll see if it actually lasts or not. But I have had a ton of fun playing it, and I don't understand all the negativity around it. Like, it is something different. It is something unique. It isn't the same damn game as a service over and over again that people complain about.
It just doesn't look like... I don't know another way to say it. It's just like, I look at this game and I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like, what you describe sounds cool. I mean, I wouldn't play it because I don't give a shit. Yeah. But, like, you say all that, and then I look at this footage, and I'm just like, ugh. Like, it just looks so flat and dull. Like,
I had an epiphany about characters, and you know how some people are like, I don't like any of the characters in that game or whatever. I haven't had an epiphany. I think that characters aren't good or bad. Like, the Concord characters aren't better or worse than the characters in this. I think what it is that once you find a game that you really like, that you find a character that you like. Like, if you like playing a game, you're good at it, and you're into it, you're going to find a character that you're good playing as, and you're going to like that character. Even if they have a goofy outfit and they have a dumb name, like, I think it's more about performance and being good with a character, and rather than, like, how they look or how they talk or anything.
I think it
like
is
that.
how they look, 100%.
You think so?
To initially attract you to a character?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like that, but that's what you need to do to get someone to play as these characters.
You're right.
And
to
like
try
every
the game.
character in this game looks like the most generic bullshit you've ever. I mean,
I feel like all characters are looking that way now, though.
There is a lot
games.
of that around.
Like, it's so hard
no, that's absolutely true. That's one of the reasons. Like, I think this is getting so much flack, is it just sort of happened to take the heat for every game that has that. And I mean, she's the only character that I can really think of that like stands out.
Yeah, I agree.
And like, that doesn't mean that they're not interesting to play. You know, I have ended up in fighting games playing as characters that I hated the way they looked, but after I tried them, I realized I liked the way they played.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that happens in these games too. But like, if someone like looks at this and is just like, I don't see anyone I want to play as, I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's like a Game of the Year contender or anything like that. Like, I'm not foolish in that way, but I do think this game is getting a raw deal. Like, I think
it probably is. I mean, it certainly is not remotely, even if it's mediocre or bad, whatever. It's not, doesn't deserve the level of, it doesn't deserve the frustrations of the entire audience with this genre and this business practice being foisted upon it as sort of a giant scapegoat, which I think is more or less what has happened.
I've never seen anything like this, Matt. I've never seen a game just get kind of piled on like this without people playing it. Because here's the thing, if you go online and you like start talking, looking at the posts and everything that people are posting about this game, you can tell they haven't played it. Because the way they're talking about it, you're like, oh, you haven't played it at all.
Because it's become an emblem.
Yeah.
It's
I think you're right. I think this is
symbolic.
becoming symbolically the I hate service games. I'm going to hate this game.
There's like a weird thing. It was like, if I can find, if this can fail, then maybe the game as a service thing will end. And that's, I mean, I really do think that's, I mean, I don't think that's like intent, like what people are like literally thinking or saying, but it does seem to be sort of like the sentiment that has risen up around this, and like it's like if we can force this thing back into its hole, maybe that people will stop trying to like do this. And honestly, the reason to stop trying to do this is to stop wasting tens of millions of dollars on things that come out fizzling and nobody bothers with again, which you'd think you'd learn at some point. I mean, again, regardless of the quality of this game, is it going to make a dent in anything? No.
I really enjoyed Highguard. I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still playing it a lot.
Also, it needs a better title.
Yeah, it's so forgettable.
Yeah.
Like in 2 months, you'll be like, "Hey, what was that game as a service that you liked that had the 3
Hellguard,
phases?"
Vanguard, Right Guard. What is
and
that?
I won't be able to remember it.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. So I agree with you. It does need a better name. But I just want to say, like, you know, it's free to play. There's no commitment to play it. So if you've been kind of watching the chatter online, you're like, "Oh my God, everybody hates this game" or whatever. It's not that bad. Like if you're looking for a new free game to play,
but is it that good?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a quality game.
Would you drop Arc Raiders for it? If you paid $40 for Arc Raiders?
I like this more than Arc Raiders.
Yeah.
But I think I'm wrong there. Like, I think I am definitely against the grain in that regard. Because I didn't like Arc Raiders that much, but everybody else seems to love it. So, obviously, I'm out of step a little bit on Arc Raiders. So, but I do like this better than Arc Raiders. But it's just not as punishing. Like, you can actually accomplish stuff and feel like you're doing stuff. In Arc Raiders, it's a very difficult game. You have to really rely on, like, other people around you to not kill you and
and only two other people.
Yeah.
You better hope those 2 people don't suck.
Yeah.
Like, a larger team, I feel like you can have losers to some degree. And at least you got, like, we got 3 of us are competent and the other 2 suck. But, like...
The irony about this, Matt, and I want to ask you your impressions on this, is what does this do to the Game Awards? Because here you have... Presumably, everybody pays pretty much to get in the show.
Yeah.
And Jeff is saying that, like, they didn't pay extra to be the one last thing, and that was all his editorial, whatever. Cool. But here's the thing. It's like, why... Do you think this is going to keep publishers from wanting to shell out money to get placement in his show? Because this is a case where they shell out the money, and it's hurt the game.
I think because they shell out the money to be in the show. I think didn't want to be highlighted that way. You know, like that's the problem, is like he made an error, like he made a judgment error, but thinking that this was something strong enough to anchor that final slot. And
it's not like the developers that are working on it are gonna be like, "You're wrong, like our game isn't that big of a deal." You want to believe it is that big.
Want to, but at the same time they weren't ready for that. I mean, they didn't say anything for a month. Like they weren't intending to have that kind of expectations placed on this game, and they shouldn't have, because it can't support that.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I don't think he did it with any malice.
No, definitely not.
But it was kind of sabotaged it.
So, what do you think publishers are going to think going forward? Like, it's risky now, right?
Well, now I think you're going to be like, "Hey, don't put us in the fucking one last thing slot."
I mean, who's going to want it now, right?
I mean, Resident Evil Requiem could have done it. Like, you could have revealed Leon. You could have done.
Yeah.
You know, people are saying like the Larian game should have been the last thing. I think. Just speaking as a production person, I'm going to bet that there was something in the way the production worked on that finale, that big like music, the orchestra finale, the way that the stage worked. I think there might have been, you couldn't have done the flying rigs that close to the orchestra performance. Right. I think there might have been something that prevented that from the reset, like or something like that. Safety, but also just like things moving around and like the way the lights makes might have precluded you doing that late in the show, because both of the flying rig stuff happened pretty far before that.
Yeah,
and that was it could have been breaking it up and have the big interesting big flying rig big stage production stuff be separated out kind of by thirds of the show.
Yeah,
but I suspect that you can't, the way they were doing that just stage production wise prevented you from using those rigs that close to each other and to whatever the way they kind of blow the stage open for the big orchestral performance.
Yeah,
so
they do. Yeah.
I think that was probably part of it. But there's other stuff you could have done that would have been able to support. There was a world where there was a time when you could have brought out like a Kojima game or but like a free to play shooter with a forgettable name by a new developer is not going to be able to hold that position down.
I do think publishers now will think long and hard about placement in his show, whereas before I think they just all thought it was good. Any place you can get me. In fact, if I can get the last thing, that's great.
Right.
Well, now they're going to be like, I don't know about that.
No, I don't think. I think 90% of the people that paid for their trailers in that series
are okay with it.
Are not okay. Would never suggest it. Like,
Oh, you mean being last?
Yeah, I think there's maybe 5 or 6 games in that show that could have been the one more
that would
thing.
have the guts to do
that
it.
Would want to, or no, I mean, people know whether they're that anchor position.
Yeah.
You know, you're either the cleanup hitter or you're not.
I mean, in the end, it was a mistake by Jeff.
Yeah.
To have the one last thing, something that people weren't interested in.
Right. So the only outcome of this is going to be that now he's going to get a lot more emails that say like, "Hey, we don't want to be in that slot."
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's
a
the
change, though.
It is.
For sure.
But like, because I think, I mean, largely I think it's because before this, I think most game publishers and developers would have thought Jeff had better judgment than that. Yeah. Frankly.
And then, I mean, I'm sure they trust him, you know?
Sure.
They're like, well, if Jeff says this is what we should do, then this is what we should do.
And there's very few, you know, it's not necessarily just like, oh, it has to be a AAA, big, you know, Silk Song could have been in there.
Yeah.
In the appropriate year.
Yeah.
Could actually, you know, but you have to understand what people are going to be excited about and what people are looking forward to and what people can, you know.
Usually Jeff's pretty good at that.
He usually is, but in this case, this is like, dude,
Yeah.
even if this was the greatest free-to-play shooter of all time, free-to-play shooters are not something the mass audience is particularly pleasant towards right now. Right now. I mean, it's just, you know, it's largely seen as a scourge.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's you know, a waste of money, and it's taken developers down left and right by, like, you know, going all in by some of them other than none of their own volition, all through publisher demand. Like, it was a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
And Highguard's paying the price for it.
Yeah, Jeff isn't. He cashed that check already.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we got to move on. Next up, we're going to talk about earlier.
Speaking of horrible
financial
choices.
peril and horrible decision making. Next, we're going to talk about Ubisoft, which is in basically a financial free fall right now. I honestly, Matt, and maybe this is a question we should answer here, is Ubisoft going to survive? Because it canceled the Prince of Persia remake. As the days have gone on since we got these announcements, it has come out that this game was basically done.
Now,
also, the collector's edition was pretty much done.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. I think they probably made the right choice here.
In canceling this game?
Yes. Because this is going to be a huge write-down. Because they've spent so much time and money on this thing.
That's true.
And I guarantee you, as much as I would have liked to have played it, especially because apparently it was kind of a musical,
which I would not have liked.
I guarantee you this wouldn't have sold very well.
Yeah, I know too. Yeah,
they are going to benefit financially more from the write-down on this than they would have from sales.
Yeah, they probably sell 500,000, million units, maybe, something
Which
like that.
Which sucks. I mean, yeah, I would have liked to have played it, but I understand what they're doing here. And in the meantime, my biggest question about the Ubisoft thing right now is like, whatever creative, shady accounting shit they've been doing with that Beyond Good and Evil 2 project for 20 years at this point, I would really like to know what's going on there.
Well, let's walk the good people through all the details with this. First of all, the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake was canceled, along with 5 other games. There was a mobile game and 4 unannounced games. 3 of the unannounced games were new IP, which is crazy. Ubisoft also delayed 7 other games and closed its Halifax and Stockholm studios. It is going to lay off, or is about to lay off,
was Stockholm Massive? Was that still
no,
going?
It's something else.
Because Massive's Division, right?
Massive, yes.
Yeah, and they're still there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because Division 3 survived, apparently. So Stockholm and Halifax studios were closed down, and they delayed 7 different games. 500 people are going to be laid, or 200 people are going to be laid off, and they've demanded that everybody at Ubisoft returns to work in the office 100%. One worker criticized it this week, and yesterday was fired for criticizing the return to work mandate. Its stock fell 33% to an all-time low. Ubisoft stock right now is like €4.
Remember when they just ruled the industry?
I know. They started a new creative structure that they're calling the Creative House structure that starts in April. Basically, they're breaking their games into 2 different segments. There's like open world action adventure games and then games as a service. They're splitting them into 2. And then within those...
Makes it easier to sell off in the fire sale, too.
Ultimately, you're right. Ultimately, within those, each creative house will have multiple studios working on a set of the company's brands. So, like, one of them has, like, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. Another one has Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell, and The Division. Another one has Brawlhalla, For Honor, and Riders Republic, etc. There's 5 different creative houses underneath those 2 new branches of Ubisoft. And all of this was to save like €200 million Are they going to survive, Matt?
I think in some form, but I think the time of Eves is coming to an end.
They're calling for him to be fired, step down, whatever. I saw some people comparing him to Donald Trump, saying that he may be senile and doesn't have all his marbles together anymore, and that the people there are like, you need to get him out of here because he's going to kill the company.
Yeah, the thing I don't understand is, like, but how, like, I mean, I remember years ago when, like, people I knew over there were like, we don't know what we're doing next. Like, they haven't chosen a project. Our thing ships in 3 weeks, and they haven't chosen a next project for us. And, like, the inability to decide what to do next was a big problem in the mid to late 2010s. I don't know. I mean, just you'd think some kind of inertia would let you continue just sort of functionally for a while here, and it just hasn't. It hasn't.
They need a mega
I don't
hit.
know what you do. I don't know what you do here.
I don't either.
I understand the fear of, you know, striking out and with a new idea and, like, going back to the, you know, the proven things. I don't know if canceling 3 new IPs was the right call there.
I don't either. Because we've seen, Matt,
because what else is going to be a breakout hit? Certainly not these known quantities.
Because what we've seen, Matt, is that these known quantities aren't hits anymore.
Right.
I mean, you can sell enough to maybe turn a profit.
Yeah, they do well. Like, obviously Assassin's Creed Shadow did well, but, like...
But not enough to set you up to debut 3 new IP. Like, you need the money from your known IP to create the 3 new IP without financial risk and financial peril. And they can't do it anymore because games like this, like the last Far Cry, it bombed. Nobody cared. The last Assassin's Creed did well, but it didn't sell like 30 million, which could have put a lot of money in the coffer for them to work on that new IP. So you're right. It's kind of like a catch-22 for Ubisoft right now. It's like, we need to keep making these franchises that we've been making because they'll at least, you know, break even and keep
putting... But a big chunk of the audience doesn't trust those franchises anymore.
Right. And if we try the new IP and they fail, we're pretty much done. So what do you do? Like, unless somebody comes and bails you out, like, I feel like it's inevitable that Ubisoft is going to be bought. Like, 100% purchased. Not do some weird, goofy Splinter thing with Tencent, like the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, like, I think the Ubisoft name will continue, but it will not be the same entity anymore.
Yeah, they'll have new owners, for sure. I don't know what else you can do, honestly.
I don't know. Like, you can't just jettison some of these IP. They're too valuable, but, like, I don't know. Like, it maybe being under new management will help. I don't know if the mass audience is aware enough of that kind of intricacies in the game industry that they'd realize that, like, oh, I should buy Far Cry 7 because...
They'll never understand
because
that.
It's under... You know, they got rid of the CEO. It's like...
And Matt, they don't care either.
Yeah.
Even if you talk to, like, a casual person and said, hey, like, Ubisoft may go away if you don't buy the new Far Cry. They're like, I don't care, dude. Who the hell's Ubisoft? Most of them don't even know what Ubisoft is. And those are the people that Ubisoft needs to reach. So... You're right. I think a new IP was probably its best chance to sort of have a breakout. And
at the same time, do you trust the minds running that company to have chosen new IPs that were
no, because
working on?
They let Skull and Bones be developed until the end. Think about Skull and Bones, Matt. Anybody could have told them that was going to flop. And they worked on it for 7 years and kept working on it and released
it.
It's like,
why isn't this just Assassin's Creed Black Flag with the Assassin's Creed stripped out of it?
Yeah, and
that's all you need to make.
They're still doing DLC for Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just poor management from top to bottom. A bloated game development structure that did not stand the test of time. They have way too many people working.
And honestly, Beyond Good and Evil 2, if you'd actually gotten what you showed in that trailer all those years ago out in some form, that could have revitalized some things. But that, I don't know what's going on over there. Again, apparently it was completely dormant again until recently.
And they let that survive. A game that's been in development for 19 years, Matt.
But it has spent about a third of that not in development.
Not in development. Just on hiatus for years and years.
Sitting there.
I mean, to me, there's 2 options here. Ubisoft either files for bankruptcy and folds or goes to bankruptcy court and tries to survive, or another company buys it in whole. That feels like, to me, the only options. Or, if it does go bankrupt, then they have the fire sale with all their IP, and EA ends up with 2 franchises, and Take-Two ends up with 2 franchises.
Emperor Dread does point out that they had to finish Skull and Bones because it was a contractual deal with the government of Singapore.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Who just shared that?
That was Emperor Dread.
Emperor Dread? Where'd you get that intel
I do remember
from?
reading about that.
Seriously, where do you get that? I haven't seen that information at all.
I remember hearing about that years ago. It might have been from Ubisoft people. Maybe I didn't read it in an article, but no, I have. That's not the first time
I have not heard that before. Interesting. JJ Forcebreaker says nobody will buy them when they have 14, 16, 18K employees, and that's what Pachter really bangs on with Ubisoft is the way he looks at
so bloated. Yeah,
the way he looks at the health of a company is how much revenue is generated per employee. And he said that if you cannot generate $500,000 per employee at a game development studio, you're in deep crap. And he said right now, Ubisoft is generating less than $100K per employee. So each employee isn't even making their salary back in revenue right now.
Wow.
And he said that's when things get bad, and that's where Ubisoft is at right now. So it is hard to fathom how, back just in 2018, Matt, Ubisoft, its stock price was highest it's ever been. It was booming.
Well, I remember in the heyday, like the Black Flag era, like all that, and like, Far Cry 5, it was like the idea that anyone could beat them. Like they were on top of the industry. Like there was no one that could compete with them.
No, it just shows you no one and no thing is untouchable.
Not
just in gaming.
Power shifts faster than we think it does.
Especially now. Things move so fast. Information is disseminated out so quickly. People know things way faster than they ever did. And in some cases, if your company's in trouble, it could be the worst thing ever.
And here's a game that got extra DLC because a Saudi prince bought a share in them. Like, it's all gotten very weird.
I mean, I see now why Ubisoft tried to cozy up with the Saudis. I mean, because they have an endless well, no pun intended, of money. And they're like, we're going to need more than what they're giving us right now if we can team up with them and do stuff like this DLC for Assassin's Creed that gives a nod to their culture or whatever. Maybe when the time comes, we can get them to chuck in more money than we're getting from them now. I don't know. But something's going to have to happen here because things cannot keep continuing the way that they are at Ubisoft right now. They'll go out of business. They will file for bankruptcy. And then, it's just a decision to
I don't know what they can do because there's nothing really on the horizon that feels like it can be something that can pull them out of this tailspin.
Yeah. And then to keep Beyond Good and Evil 2 in development, which at this point is just a CG trailer. We saw some development footage like 4 years ago or whatever that looked really yurly and really rough.
Whatever this is, I mean, again, I would like to play this, but I don't know what it is or where. I
know. Yep. So things are not looking good for Ubisoft, folks. I mean, they're about as bad as they could look, in all honesty. And if it weren't for the Saudis, they may have gone out of business already.
Yeah.
So I look for more. Like, first of all, I don't think this restructuring thing, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't understand why they think that is going to change their business.
I think you need a complete overhaul of leadership, really. I mean, that's the thing is there's no confidence going forward that the people who got them into this situation get them out of it. And that's probably correct.
You can't put 1,000 people on a game anymore. You can't. You can't shut down all your development pipelines to get the next Assassin's Creed over the finish line or the next Far Cry over the finish line. That's what Ubi's been doing. They'll have a team of 300 or 400 that work on the game for the first 6 years or whatever. Then when they have like 18 months to go, they bring everybody in to like polish and all that. You can't do that. Like, that is not working.
Yeah. So not anymore because it doesn't. I mean, if you're going to go by the math that Pachter uses, like there's no way that the games don't sell enough anymore. They used to, but they don't sell enough anymore to generate that revenue per employee anymore.
Yep. You figure you got 1,000 people making $100K, you got to make $1 billion.
Yep. And they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't make that. So it's not looking good for Ubisoft, and it does hurt. Like, I have admired Ubisoft for many, many years. Like, they've been my favorite publisher for certain years. Like, but not anymore. There's just no output, and the output that is there is just not sterling anymore. No. It's great, but it's just not a cut above like it used to be, and that's what you need to make $1 billion on a game.
Like, Shadows was a pretty solid return to form in that regard, but like, it's more notable in how much of an exception it is.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, like, maybe Hexa, but like, will we even see that anymore?
I'm very excited for Hexa. Will other people be? Do other people care about witchcraft and the occult? Like,
sure, but like, is that going to save the company? No. Like,
it has to be.
You're going to make $1 billion off that game? Probably not.
No, it's not going to happen. So anyway, Ubisoft is in deep doo-doo, and I don't know that there's anything that like I can say to somebody that makes a difference. It's not like I tell somebody, go out and buy Assassin's Creed Shadows. That'll help them. Like, it won't. Like,
I think they're right. I think the employees are right. And, like, I think each time is over. New management is needed. Because, yes, the only way you can get any kind of optimism from either the consumer base or the shareholders. Like, don't blame anyone for having no confidence in the existing leadership, because like how can you if you've gotten here that way?
Yeah. So anyway, this is going to be an ongoing story all year.
And it's a hard thing because they're kind of a family company in a way.
Yeah, they are. Because that's the thing. Like, his son is going to take over if he leaves.
Right. Like,
Yves's son is already in line to take over. So if, like, you get rid of Yves, like, his son's going to come in. Where do you think he learned everything about business from? His dad.
And, like, clearly that worked for a while.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't know what that guy is how savvy any of that is. Like, and like, if that's what happens, is if you're an investor or even if you're just an employee, is your confidence level any different now? I wouldn't think so.
No, it's in the toilet right now. It is. Like, now they're all looking to try to form a union and cover their butts and try to save their job. It's just bad. So anyway, we'll see. This is going to be an ongoing story throughout the year, and we will update you guys as we get more information. Although if you go to SIFTD every day, you're just going to see it. But yeah, things are not looking good at the house of Ubisoft. Okay, next up, we have another review for you guys. We're going to talk about a game called Cairn. We previewed it. It's been almost, I don't know, like 8 or 10 months at this point since we previewed it here on GameFace. It came out this week. And Matt, at first, I thought this might be a game of the year because we curate reviews from the major gaming outlets on SIFTD. We don't go and like find some YouTuber and find their reviews. We pretty much just curate the major outlets. And every major outlet gave this game a 9 or higher. And I was like, holy crap, at the very least, we have early contender for Indie Game of the Year. And then I went and played it, and I kind of was checking and poking around yesterday, knowing I was going to talk about it today. And I went to Metacritic, and its Metacritic average is an 8. So the big outlets gave it 9s and higher, and then the smaller guys were the ones that really like murdered it and brought its average way down. That's happened a couple times lately with big games where the big outlets give big scores to a game and the smaller guys kind of bring the average down. That happened with Cairn as well. Now, the first thing I'm going to say, I think a lot of people think that this is a rage game. It is a climbing game where you control each limb individually on the climber. And there is a little bit of, like, rubbing your belly and tapping your head at the same time when you first start playing. Certain people may not. It's kind of like learning how to play the drums and being able to play with your feet and your hands at the same time. It's like there's that moment where you break through and you can do it like a lot of us did with Rock Band. You're like, oh my God, I'm doing it finally. There's a little bit of that in this game. Like at first you start doing it, and like this is the early training section of the game where you're just down at the base, like getting ready to go on your expedition. And they just set up these climbing walls for you to learn. And these first moments are very awkward where you're trying to figure out how the stuff works. After about an hour and a half, it all kind of clicks. But I will say this, Matt, even when I was and I haven't finished this, I've played like 5 hours of it. Even at the 4th, 5th hour playing this game, when I climb, it still looks awkward. Like her legs are still bending in ways they shouldn't bend. Her arms are, but it does feel natural as far as like whether you make it up the mountain or not. And so this isn't, I wouldn't call this like a rage game where people are going to watch people stream it to wait for them to like get to the top of the mountain and fall and die and freak out.
So it's not like climbing baby steps?
No. It's not like baby steps. It's not like, what's the other one, Getting Over It? Is that one where the dude in the pot with the big sledgehammer or whatever?
What about Jusant?
I didn't play much Jusant.
Oh, you like that one?
Or wait, which one is that one?
Like the climbing thing with the rope and stuff, isn't that? Remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, this is more technical for sure. Because again,
I remember seeing like I'll be honest, I thought this was out already.
Yeah,
like a long time ago.
No, it just came out this week or 2 days ago. Actually, it just came out. There was a demo available to play for a while if you wanted to give it an early go. So maybe you thought that was the release of the game, or when we covered it, maybe you thought you just in hindsight you thought it came out, but it
might have been.
But here's the thing: like there are,
this kid.
Oh yeah. That's definitely more casual for sure, and that's more like fun, like using the ropes to swing and stuff like that. Okay. This is realistic. So you have like pittons, which are these little spikes that you can put into crevices in the wall, and that creates like your checkpoint. So, and you can use them wherever you want. Now, part of the strategy of the game is intelligently using your pittons, because
pitons.
I thought that as well. In the game, they call them pittons. So
the game is wrong.
I thought so too. Like in my preview, when I talked about the game like 8 months ago, I called them pythons. Apparently, they're pittons. That's what they call them in the game anyway. You would assume they did their research. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. I've never heard them called.
I always thought there were pitons as well.
They're pitons. That's what they are.
But you have like a handful of them that you can use as you go up the mountain, but you don't want to like use them every 20 or 30 feet because you'll run out of them as you get to the top of the mountain. So part of the strategy is looking up the mountain and saying, hey, this is where I want to place my pitons, whatever the hell you want to call them, and strategically get up the hill. Now, once you set one of those, and if you fall, you only fall 20 or 30 feet down. You don't fall all the way down to the beginning again. So that's why I'm saying this isn't a rage game like those other games where people are going to lose their minds, as long as they're playing it with some modicum of intelligence, which I would hope most streamers would have.
Cinetyke's theory on the reviews is that the smaller outlets gave it lower reviews because it's not good streamer bait.
I mean, it is kind of streamer bait, though. I mean, I think some people will get angry playing this game because it can be frustrating. There's no doubt about it. Like, there's times...
But it's not funny, no?
No.
Like Baby Steps was.
No, it's not funny. There's no comedy really to this at all. Even when you fall, as long as you have a python, you only fall like 20 or 30 feet, and you have to climb it back up again. It's not that big a deal. It can still be frustrating if you got like 50 feet above the python, and then you fall, and you still fall 20 feet below. It can still be frustrating, but not on the level of those other streamer games. But that may have a little bit to do with it. I just think a lot of them just got frustrated with the game very quickly. Like I said, it takes about an hour before you can really start figuring stuff out. And there are quality of life things in the game as well. Like, generally when you play this game, you don't know when she's about to fall. Other than looking at her. Like, her arms will start to quiver, her legs will start to shake. And that's your visual cue that, like, you need to change your handhold or you're going to fall. You can turn something on where there's a little box around all four of her limbs, and it will show you when you have a good footing. Because that, to me, is one of the confusing things about this game. Even if her legs aren't shaking, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's standing on solid footing. You can, like, sort of, like, let go and still fall in those situations. If you turn on the squares, it lets you know for sure that you have good footing. Because the other part of strategy about this is looking up the mountain face and saying, okay, if I follow this line up the face, there's two places where I can stop and stand and rebuild all my stamina. Because you're also monitoring things. This is also a survival game. So you're monitoring your hunger, your thirst, your strength, and stuff like that. So, like, once you get to the top, you can set up your tent and you can refill all that stuff, or you can find places to stand and refill all that stuff. It'll give you a break to eat some food, drink some water, let your stamina refill. So that's what I found myself doing, looking at the cliff face and saying, oh, look, there's two shelves on this face. If I go that way, that'll give me a chance to kind of reset mid-climb. Now, early in the game, the climbs aren't that long. Each one takes maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. You get to like hour 4, those climbs are insane. Like, literally single climbs that could take like 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Where you're like managing your pythons for that far of a climb. That's when the strategy starts getting involved. But you can see, once you get to like a flat part of the mountain, you get here, you can get to you basically initiate your bivouac. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, bivouac or bivouac.
Bivouac. Yeah. And that sets up your tent where you can go in, and inside the tent you can cook food, you collect recipes as you climb up the hill, and there's like all these little caverns that you explore. A big part of the game's plot, quote unquote, is discovering this ancient society that used to live on the mountain and discovering things about them. And you'll bump into people who know more about it than you do. You also bump into this other climber named Marco, who's this young climber who the thing about it is you're a celebrity. Like, you're the climbing god. Everybody knows who you are. You're in all the magazines. So when you meet this Marco kid, he's like, oh my god, is it Ava? The god climber, Ava? And you end up, like, interacting with that kid all the way up the mountain. He has doubts. You have to cheer him up and motivate him to keep going. You have crazy deep conversations with him about climbing. They take climbing very serious in this. Like, some of the stuff that they talk about, it's like, you can tell that a climber made this game. Like, there's definitely something about the people that do this. I mean, they're insane, in my opinion, Matt. To do this stuff is just nuts. And they talk about it, how people think they're crazy. Another subplot in this is that her partner back at home is dealing with a sick pet. And so there's this pressure. Like, she has this little thing called a climb bot that follows her around. You can see it there. And it helps her climb. But it also receives phone calls and stuff from the outside world. And so she'll get phone calls from her significant others. Like, the cat's sick, I'm taking it to the vet. And so there's all this drama that is going on in the real world while she's trying to find her zen climbing on the mountain. And that's really what the plot is what it's like to be a climber, and how this is like your Zen moment, but you can't ever completely shut out the real world while you're doing it.
I'm sure her partner will appreciate when she falls to her death off a rock face while the cat is dying. It's like it's a hard weekend.
Well, that's a lot of what the plot is her managing that relationship with her partner back at home while she's trying to live her quote unquote best life and do what she loves to do. And it's a lot of it is her realizing that maybe she's shirking adult responsibility by spending so much time climbing on the mountain. Anyway, there are these undercurrents in the game that I don't want to completely ruin. There's no like crazy overt plot with lots of cutscenes. It's subtle stuff like that. There's lots of climb and talks where she's climbing and she's receiving messages from her climb bot from back at home. There's lots of stuff that goes on like that kind of adds layers of intrigue to the thing. But overall, the whole plot is she's a god-tier climber climbing the most difficult mountain in the world. And that's pretty much the only setup for the game. And the rest is just kind of this subtle stuff that you kind of interact with throughout the course of the game with Marco, the other climber, the people that you meet on the mountain who have been living in the mountain for like decades and have kind of lost touch with reality. And then her partner back at home. And all that stuff kind of coalesces into what becomes a very compelling plot. Now, it looks to me like I'm pretty much near the top of the mountain. I'm at hour 4 or 5. So my guess is it's probably only 6-7 hours long. So it's not like the plot needs to hold up the game for a really long period of time. For the amount of time that I've played, it has done a really good job of it, though, of kind of mixing in the emotions with the emotions of the struggle of climbing. Because as a player, you also struggle to climb up these cliff faces. Now, another quality of life thing they give you in this is the ability for them to show you the line up the cliff face. And I tried not to use that because that does feel like it really takes away a lot of the strategy from the game. But
at the same time, she would know that.
Right. And that is kind of what I tell myself when I use it. I'm like, well, she would know what the best trip up or what the best path is up this thing. But it does make it easier. So I try not to do it. But if I start to get frustrated and I fall a bunch of times, then I will start sort of using that line, at least to give me a hint on where to start. If not, look at the whole line up the whole cliff face. So that's pretty much the gist of Cairn. That's pretty much all there is to it. Like, you do get to like these sections on the mountain where it flattens out and you go into these caves and you find stuff. Like, you find this one cave that's full of like bees and honey, and you find a little smoker that you can use to actually collect some of the honey, and you can use that honey in the recipes that you found on the mountain. It all kind of ties in together. When you're in the tent, you can eat, you find like python pieces that you can convert into usable pythons. You can do that in the tent. You can rest, you can sleep, you can do push-ups, it's basically like your moment to just get a reprieve from the climb and like re-heal. You can tape your fingers if your fingers are bleeding from the climb that you did the day before. You can do that. Other than the pythons giving you checkpoints, there's also save points all over the mountain. And you don't have to like set up your tent every time you save, but I found myself mostly doing it. But there's plenty of save points. Like every time you get to a flat section of the mountain, you can save. So I think it does a pretty good job of... Yeah, that's a rough one. I think it does a pretty good job of making the challenge manageable. More than like I think a lot of people think that this game sort of does. So I've had a good time with it. It's only like $30. It's not that expensive. Again, I haven't finished the game, but it looks like I'm going to finish it at around the 7-hour mark-ish. You're not going to play another game like this, maybe ever. So if this interests you and is something that's kind of piqued your interest, it's probably worth the $30 to plunk down and play it. This is another one of those games where if it doesn't break even, we're definitely never getting another one. So if you want to see more games like this, then you should probably try to support it. But how many people are on our chat right now, Matt, that are into climbing?
At least 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's
cool. That's good to hear, actually. Also, is that Pito82 that gave us a super chat? Greetings from Spain. Thank you, Pito82. You guys should come visit. Best podcast ever. I have been to Barcelona, and I did not want to leave. Barcelona may be my favorite city in the entire world. I'm not kidding. I loved Barcelona, but I have not been anywhere else in Spain other than driving to Barcelona. I drove there from Nice all the way to Barcelona.
Looks like Take-Two had their CEO thing, and they said they're going to start marketing spending for GTA 6 in the summer, and it will be November 19th.
Okay, we'll see. That's good to hear. But we'll see. I don't trust anything that I'm hearing on that yet. Until we get to May. A lot of
stuff can change.
If they say that in May, then I'll be cool.
It's kind of like the Avengers thing, whereas like I believe that Avengers Doomsday is slipping to May 2027 for basically since they announced it for December. And then they did the trailers and stuff and the countdown all of a sudden. But I'm like, and I was like, if they don't put a trailer in the Super Bowl, that movie's slipping, and they are not putting a trailer in the Super Bowl. There is no.
That's a good sign. Yeah.
There is no way that movie comes out alongside Dune.
Yeah.
That movie needs to make Endgame money, and you do not make it alongside Dune with no IMAX screenings.
That's true.
So we'll see. Like you're gonna. I don't think it's planned that way, but I think you're gonna start to see whether. And again, your marketing from the summer can still roll over into February 2027 for GTA. Like you're not wasting that money by letting people know it's coming, because the vast majority of people don't know it's coming. You got to let people know that the GTA 6 exists.
Until their financial report comes out in May, I'm not trusting it. That's all I'm gonna say. Just so you guys know, for those of you listening to the show on podcast feeds or whatever, Cairn is available for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series.
And Erebus Jones says the AMD investor call just outed the next Xbox is next year, and the Steam machine is early this year.
Early this year?
Early 2026.
So in like a month?
I mean, early can just mean first half.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for those tips. Appreciate that.
Erebus Jones.
Next Xbox in 2027. That seems insane.
Not
but okay.
As James Cameron said about Alien 3, it's not how I would have done it.
Yeah.
But.
Yep. All right, so there you go. That is Cairn. Again, it's available for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. Again, there's no other game like it, so if you like unique games and something different with a little bit of a challenge, give Cairn a look. All right, next up. Just checking the clock here to see how much time we got left and how many more topics we're going to be able to get through before we need to name that game tune. Next up, we got some bad news this morning. Matt, did you see this about Obsidian?
Yeah.
So
I'm
Obsidian,
not super shocked, if I'm honest.
So Obsidian released 3 games in 1 year. I don't know if I can think of a studio that's ever done that. Nintendo, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
Nintendo, yeah.
But otherwise...
Certainly not a first-party company.
Yeah. Avowed, The Outer Worlds 2.
Ubisoft used to do that a lot.
And Grounded 2. So it released 3 games.
EA in Once Upon a Time.
Unfortunately.
It used to be more common.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's very
uncommon. Yeah. Unfortunately, we got some bad news. And that is that The Outer Worlds as a franchise is now dead. The Outer Worlds 2 did not sell very well. And so Obsidian, in an interview with Bloomberg today, shared that The Outer Worlds is dead. The franchise is gone.
Not dead, only sleeping.
Yeah, and I mean, the way things work...
The day will come where they try it again.
It's possible. In 15 years or 10 years, they try again. But as of right now, Obsidian says the franchise is dead. I don't know if you remember, but we watched the second trailer they put out for that game. I watched it. I was like, this game looks kind of like ass. And I was like, I wonder if people watching this trailer... I wonder if this game's in trouble or whatever. And then it came out, and it was actually good. And I was like, oh, I was wrong. It actually was good, but then it didn't sell at all. So I don't know if I was right or not, but ultimately the game did not sell.
It was a great game.
It was a great game.
Didn't sell. I mean, the first one wasn't exactly a giant hit either. Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised they made a second one.
Yeah,
I'm glad they did. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. Like sometimes these things just don't. I mean, and also like I don't know. There wasn't a lot of NFL advertising for it. Who fucking knows?
I mean, it's not like it's because Obsidian put out 3 games. Like that has really nothing to do with it. That's just a coincidence. Like it made a good game.
Yeah.
People just weren't interested in the game.
They made 3 good games.
Yeah, they did. They made 3 great games in 1 year, which is crazy. But for whatever reason...
And they did say they're going to continue to support the DLC plan for it.
Yep, so they're going to follow through, and all the content's still going to come out for this game. But unfortunately, after that, it's all over. There won't be another one. They also shared that, unfortunately, Avowed also tanked financially. However... They said that they are going to continue with Avowed. Mm-hmm. Why do you think they would choose Avowed over The Outer Worlds?
Because Obsidian owns the Pillars of Eternity setting.
That makes sense.
Also, the combat in that is phenomenal, and they need to build on it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think they made the right choice.
Yeah.
If I had to pick between the two, I would have picked Avowed.
I think Avowed also has the largest breakout potential of the two. Like, I love the tone, and I mean, Outer Worlds is basically what Fallout would have been if Bethesda wasn't a bunch of cowards about the satire.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate. I mean, Outer Worlds 2 is some of the most nakedly anti-capitalist, anti-profit sort of stuff. I mean, they criticize every single thing, and I mean, especially for a company owned by Obsidian or owned by Microsoft, it's extra funny.
The irony, yeah.
So like, but you know, Avowed is a more straightforward like fantasy world, but again, Obsidian still owns Pillars of Eternity, I think, on their own. That's why they're able to work on like do that.
Avowed looks like other games.
It can.
Whereas the other franchise does not.
Sorta. I don't know. Nobody said this looked like ass.
No.
In the previews.
No.
So.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they still have some autonomy on this setting is probably a large part of it. I think it's more important to them because that's
yes, their baby.
That Kickstarter really kind of brought them back from the brink, I think.
Yeah.
And they're still working on the first one. The first one is just got the beta of the turn-based combat update, and that should finalize sometime in the next few months.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that if they're going to pick one, they pick this.
Yeah.
Also because, again, the writing in this game is pretty subpar in terms of just sort of like what you expect from this style of game.
Yeah.
But the combat is second to none.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's a lot easier to get better writers maybe than it is to like reinvent your combat wheel. And I think they nailed that on this, and they should build on it.
Yeah, like on Ash. Well, now it's called the Shane Satterfield Show, but on Ask Shane Anything, people ask for my top 5 games, and Avowed was my number 5.
Yeah,
for the year.
It'd be in my top 5. Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, they made.
I played this game like 80 hours. Like, I liked it a lot.
Too,
like
I never got sick of the combat.
I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I didn't
either. It goes forever, but like.
Yeah, it does go on for a long time. But anyway, what do you think this means for Obsidian going forward? Also, are you surprised that of those 3 games, that Grounded 2 was the big hit?
Not really, because Grounded 1 did pretty well, too.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that until Grounded 2 came out, that Grounded 1 was so successful. And now apparently Grounded 2 of these 3 games was the most successful one.
Well, maybe it ties in what you just said. Like, Grounded doesn't look like anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no other game that does what Grounded does in terms of setting.
Yeah,
and
true.
It's... Again,
back in the 90s, in the early aughts, there was a lot of games.
There's a lot more on the back of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but that was a long time ago.
But not now. Now this is the only gig in town, pretty much.
And I played the early release of this, and I thought it was very good.
Oh, I had a great time with it too. Yeah, I had fun with it. I mean, not as much fun as I had with the other 2 games, though.
No, it's but like because I'm not as into the survival thing.
Yeah, me either.
But as the survival things go, I thought this was one of the better ones I've played.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. For sure. I mean, I thought all 3 games are good.
Yeah, they are. They're all 3.
It was an amazing year for Obsidian, and it sucks that only one of the 3 games actually had a return for them. That really stinks, man.
I think Avowed has potential. I mean, they seem to know that too. Like, I think if you can get something that like delivers better narratively and still has that kind of level of combat, I think you've got maybe an all-timer on your hands. Mm-hmm. I do think, just in terms of the audience that kind of consumes these kinds of games and everything I see from them, they probably need to reconsider their no romance thing in these games.
It's important to people.
I don't really care about it. I can take or leave it, but and a lot of times it's just sort of like cringy. Certainly in Veilguard, I thought that was cringy.
Like 75% of the time is cringy.
Yeah,
but people want it.
People want it, and like this that audience is loves that stuff. And let's be honest, like almost half, if not more, of the post-game release chatter on Baldur's Gate 3 is all related to that.
Yeah.
It is what people want and expect from this subgenre, basically.
Yeah.
And I think you need to really consider giving it to them.
I'm just glad that Obsidian's not closing. Because a lot of studios, if you had 3 games in a row, well, 2 out of 3 games that tanked, you're on fumes.
You can't close them because they're the ones who have to make New Vegas 2.
They're also the ones who are filling the holes for Microsoft on Game Pass.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, Bethesda can fart around and take 15 years to make Fallout 5, but these guys can give you New Vegas 2 by the end of the decade.
There's value to these games beyond how much they sell. Yeah. I mean, the value is that you're convincing people to subscribe to Game Pass with these games.
Well, you'd be insane to like shut down this company that's full of people that can make these 3 games
that are skilled. In 1 year. It's mind-boggling that it did that. So it sucks hearing that 2 of their 3 games failed, but I think
of the level of organization required to get all 3 of those teams to get I mean, they even said in the statement it's like it was stupid. It was bad scheduling problems and like delays that ended up with those 3 all coming out in the same year. It wasn't intentional, but it's like you still did it. You still got them. I mean, that's incredible achievement, I think.
Yeah. Well, our final story. Unfortunately, we have to cut a bunch of stories, but I think the one that I want to discuss before we have to move on to name that game tune is a brand new piece of AI technology that was unveiled by Google this week called Genie. Did you get a chance to check this out, Matt?
I saw some of it, yeah.
It is basically just a prompt-based game creator.
It's a prompt-based game plagiarizer.
Yeah,
which
basically.
Does nothing of value or interest.
Yeah. So this is straight up plagiarism. People have been able to instantly make Zelda games, instantly make Mario games that look exactly like Zelda and exactly like... They've definitely been trained.
If they were made by idiots, yes.
Right. But it is...
It's like, if you want to see what Mario Kart looks like at, like, 10 cc's, there you go.
Now, one thing I will say, Matt, is I do think this technology is kind of freaking mind-blowing, but it's just morally and legally completely out of bounds.
Well, it's not mind-blowing at all, because they're just generating images. Like, it's not, there's no consistency.
Well, you're playing it, though.
You're playing it, but there's no consistency, there's no world, there's no nothing. It's not
presumably, as you give it more inputs, it does that. But it's still impressive to just type in this world, this character, and it makes it, and you can just run around in that world. You think about the work that it's taken to do something like this for the last 40 years, and it's pretty crazy what this can do. But here's the problem, Matt, is like, this will never work. How are you ever going to train AI legally? You can't. You can't train it on the real world.
No.
Can you take photographs with a digital camera and feed it into AI, and that does the same thing as scraping the internet?
No. I mean, certainly not in this regard. I mean, you could try it, but I don't think you're going to get these kind of results out of it.
It's so crazy to me how much resources and time is going into developing stuff like this. And it is cool. It's like, this is cool. Taking a picture of your pet, and then all suddenly it's in a game. But it's never going to work. Legally, you can't do it. So why are you wasting so much money and resources on stuff that you're never going to be able to put out, like, publicly? I don't understand it. Do they think eventually people are going to give in, and they're going to be like, it's okay, just plagiarize now? Like, that's never going to happen. Like,
some of them do think that.
You think they really believe that?
I know it.
That over time,
it's not me thinking.
I
know that. And the comparison they use is sampling. That's what they try to hide behind.
But that's illegal. You can't sample music without paying for it now.
Yeah.
Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique was like the tipping point.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't know how anything really works in the world.
No, you're right. They don't.
These are really dumb people.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. How do they get in these positions where they control this kind of money? Mm-hmm. And they're not smart. It's mind-boggling. Like, what the hell?
They have a very specific set of skills, and most of those things don't translate into actual useful things beyond kind of the digital world.
Yeah.
Because if you look at some of these things, like, this is what they chose to show things off. You look at the things people made. Like, the Mario Kart Rainbow Road thing is laughable.
Yeah.
It moves too slow. It starts with this giant, crazy corkscrew turn, and as soon as the corkscrew turn leaves the screen and then comes back, it's just like a basic curve.
Yeah.
And the castle's gone, and no one interacts with each other, and nothing's... I mean, it's all just drivel.
I mean, it's all crap, but again, I think if you use the prompts the right way... Like,
but you're never
also have to realize, Matt, that the people that are making the Mario Kart and the Zelda, they're trying to make it look bad. Like, they're intentionally...
No, they're not. I mean, I'm talking about... The guy who posted the Mario Kart thing was posting this as the future of video game development.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not talking about people slagging AI. Everyone I'm talking about in these regards that made these terrible things that are, obviously ripping off other... They were all posting it as positive things.
Really?
I'm not talking about... Yeah.
Because the Zelda thing, it was obvious to me that...
Oh, the Zelda thing was people fucking around.
Yeah,
sure.
They're trying to make it look bad.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you don't need to try and make it look bad. It already looks bad, and it's not going to. It doesn't sustain for more than a minute.
Like, there are elements of this that could work. Like being able to take a picture of your pet and put it in a game. But that has practical use.
But you can't get what you just saw there. You can't get that without feeding Stray into this thing.
You don't think?
Cat movement?
You can't just feed the kinematics of a cat into the AI.
Where do you think they got those kinematics?
I mean,
from Stray, from other games.
They didn't have to.
That is where they got
themselves. Like, you can't just assume that they're always doing that.
You can actually assume that because
can't.
They don't. Show me their studio where they mocap cats and feed that information into this Genie thing.
I mean, it's Google.
They don't have it.
What do you mean they don't have it? How do you know that?
Because that's not what Google does.
They had a whole development wing for a long time. Those offices.
You show me where their studio where they've done that.
I can't. Nobody can. I don't work at Google.
Well, then I'm going to assume that they're stealing it from people who already made it because that's the whole point of this shit is to do it for nothing.
Well, it's not. No, it's you to do it for nothing. It's not for the people who make the AI to do it for nothing.
The people who made the AI are not doing their own groundwork for that. I assure you, they're feeding stuff from other people.
They're spending tons of money, man. I don't know what
they're spending tons of money on development of the algorithms and whatever the hell they need to do to make this look good to an investor. But I assure you, they are not mocapping animals and feeding that data into the AI. That is not what they're doing.
Well, I think what they would say is the AI can look at a video of a cat walking and figure out the kinesmatics of the animal walking.
They can say that, but that's not what it does. It just duplicates it.
I honestly don't know.
It can't extrapolate.
I don't know enough to know to say
I
that.
do know enough, and it cannot extrapolate from a 2D video that's how a cat walks to then put it into 3D. You need the 3D information of that, and the best way to do that would be to feed it a game that shows a cat walking from that perspective, and that would be Stray or something similar.
But aren't they just going to take the video footage of Stray and use that like they would use a video of a cat walking?
What do you mean?
Like, they're not going to actually dig into the code and find in the code the line of code that has the cat walking animation.
No. Sure, but it'd be a video footage of Stray, sure.
But what's the difference between using Stray and using a video of your cat in the living room?
Well, because you took the video of the cat in your living room.
Right.
And
so why would they use Stray when they could just use their own cat?
Because they want it to look like a video game. A video of your cat in the living room doesn't look like a video game. The point I'm making is that the Stray part is not just the fact that the cat is walking, it's the fact that the cat is walking from a behind-the-cat, third-person video game-style perspective. You don't get that from a home video.
You can film that just with the cat in the living room. You can just do a 360 around the cat.
I assure you they are feeding video game footage into this thing to let the thing rip that off.
I don't doubt you, but I don't think you can just assume that that's the way it is.
Well, I am going to assume that until proven otherwise, because that is how all this Gen AI shit works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can see that they've definitely fed assets.
If you would like to show me, Google, your studio where you mocap animals from the back of a third-person perspective and feed it in to make a totally original algorithm that shows me unplagiarized cat video game footage, go right ahead. But until then, I'm going to assume that you stole it from Stray.
But I don't. Why? How would they steal it? I don't get it. What you're saying?
Because they
that
fed
makes
it
no sense.
Because they fed it into the
Look, I would understand it if you're saying they fed the line of code in there. If
no, they fit the video.
But that makes no sense.
Makes perfect sense.
You can just take a video of a cat.
Because you cannot.
You don't need the game.
Because you can't get a consistent video of something behind. I mean, I guess you could mount like a rig behind the cat or something. But that is, as long as you're doing that, you might as well make your own game. I mean that you can get a long, consistent footage of a cat walking from a behind-the-back, third-person perspective from Stray. And that is what you're trying to generate here, so that's what you'd use.
I think they're stealing. I don't think they're stealing like that. Anyway, that's Genie AI, and I agree with Matt. It's slimy, and it's crappy, and it's illegal, and I don't think anything's going to come out of it. And my big question is why...
It's illegal, but it's not, like...
It is illegal.
It is illegal, but it's not, like, specifically illegal yet.
Well, there's no law yet. Like,
that's exactly it.
Once smart people are in charge again, I think there will be a law against it, but for now there's not.
That's a big win.
But I'm just saying, like...
No, I mean, I agree.
My question about this is, like, why are they dumping so much money into this shit when it's illegal? Like, I just don't understand. Like, what if they get away with it?
2 reasons. First, they're all in. Like, that's it. Just like every other fucking everything in the world, they're all in and they're leaning into this. If you're invested in AI, you're getting investment money. If you're not investing in AI, you're getting nothing. That's
like Apple's stock right now. It keeps returning crazy returns, and its stock never moves because it doesn't do anything
it's not
with
doing
AI.
anything with Gen AI. No, that's exactly it.
It's really hilarious.
That's exactly it. The other thing is...
Well, they're trying to make it happen. The rich people are trying to make AI happen.
Yeah. But the other thing is, like, where you keep saying it's illegal, and, like, yeah, like, technically you're correct, but there is no actual law against this tech yet because the law hasn't caught, just like with Napster, and probably, maybe, not under this administration, but we're kind of leaning towards Europe saving us on this one to some degree, because if you can't do it globally, then you're going to have a problem. But there isn't anything, like, specifically illegal about that yet.
Well, there's no law.
There's no law about it because that tech didn't exist yet. And, and the law is very bad about getting ahead of tech things like that. So I think most of these people, like when you're talking about why would they do that with like, because they're going to get sued, I think most of them are betting that they're going to be able to buy their way out of that and make sure that law doesn't happen. And make sure there's an exception for that.
You probably can't.
Right.
That's a sad truth.
Like, who's going to prosecute that in this country right now?
Nobody right now.
Right.
Maybe in 3 years.
Right, but 3 years later, you're like, will you be able? He's like, oh, we've been doing this for so long. You can't just tell us now that that's where they're going to try. Will it work? I don't know, but like that's their bet. And maybe by that point they'll have found a way to do it without having to steal everything yet. But that doesn't seem very likely.
It is. I mean, AI is an issue. There's no doubt about it. And I don't know that until this administration is gone, it's going to be dealt with the way it shouldn't be dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, Europe is starting to kind of make
and here's
moves
the thing,
in
if
that
Europe
direction,
makes the moves, then America may be forced to make the move with them. Because if companies start working with Europe under those parameters, then maybe we have to coalesce and become a part of it. So we'll see. But we need to move on because it's time for... That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards in game audio. They have worked on multiple Game of the Year winners, uncountable Game of the Year contenders. They will work on your game and make the audio in your game much better, I promise you. Anything you're working on that has sound in it, contact Soundwizardry.com. If you're working on a TV show, you're working on a podcast, if you just need consulting on setting up your podcast, they are the masters of audio. Hit them up at soundwizardry.com. And of course, because they are so awesome, they sponsor this cool game that we play called Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 samples from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before this guy right here, who has been on a bit of a roll for the last several months, probably because I've been using a lot of retro games lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps a little bit. But you guys have been playing games as long as we have. You guys should also be in on that. A couple things before we get going. In fact, just one thing before we get going. We have changed things this year with Name That Game Tune. You can keep playing. Like, if you win, you are not eliminated going forward. And we're going to create a leaderboard throughout the year. We've only played once so far this year, so we don't have the leaderboard up yet. But we'll have a leaderboard where you'll see, like, you can win like 20 times and become the champ of Name That Game Tune for 2026. And we'll get prizing out for probably the top 3 finishers. But anyway, all the other stuff is gone. Like, you don't have to worry about playing PC games anymore. You don't have to worry about if you've won already. Everybody can play every single week. So with that, let me bring up our interface here. And YouTube crew, thank you very much for watching the show over on YouTube Live. We appreciate you guys very much. But unfortunately, we can only play Name That Game Tune with one chat. So if you want to play, head on over to twitch.tv/SIFTDGames and get involved. Let me get everything pulled up here. All my samples ready to go. All right, Matt, are you ready to play Name That Game Tune?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys ready to play Name That Game Tune? Here's the first sample.
There's no sound yet.
Oh, let me turn you up. My fault. Okay. Here we go. Here's the first sample in 3, 2, 1. I'll play it one more time.
Gauntlet.
Not Gauntlet. All right, let's see if we get any guesses from that one. Wasteland, no. Battletoads, no. Mass Effect 2, no. Outrun, no. Silent Hill, no. F-Zero, no. Pole Position, that's a good guess, but that's not it. Rock and Roll Racing, nope. Mega Man X, nope. Retro video game by Google. Nope. Sonic 3, nope. Google AI Slop, nope. I'm guessing that's Bit Chip Runner, but nope. Beyond Good and Evil, not that either. Lots of guesses from that sound. I didn't think there would be that many.
Why did it censor that?
I don't know. Bit Trip. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Top Gear 3000, no. I'm not even familiar with that game. Sayonara Wild Hearts. So now you know Top Gear 3000 will never be a Name That Game Tune. Contra, nope. Any other guesses before we go on to the second one? No more guesses from you, Matt? Galaxian, no. Cruising USA, no.
So.
No?
Spy Hunter?
No. That's a good one, too, though. Is that the sound when you get behind the truck?
No, I was kind of thinking like the car going past you.
Yeah, I remember a sound that sounded like that from that game. Rad Racer, no. Any last guesses? Going once. Going twice. Okay, here we go. Here's the second sample in 3, 2, 1.
Altered Beast.
Yep. Yep, we have a winner. It is Altered Beast. Let me give Matt his round of applause for winning once again.
Okay, so what was the first one?
It's just a sound effect. The transitions between one screen to the next.
Oh, it's the portal. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it now.
Here's the third one.
That's when he takes your stuff away.
Yep. Here's the fourth one.
Power up.
And here's the last one. This one definitely people would have got it.
Welcome to your doom.
Yeah. There you go. Good job, Kyle. He's a tough competitor. You guys got to be on your
once
game.
you go back before 1998 or so.
Yeah. And maybe I should start going with newer games again. But it got to the point
Mix
where
it up.
It got to the point where the game started getting really obscure, and then like the only games I could choose from were like game part 3, game part 4, and that's when it gets really dicey. Like, tell them whether it's like Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3. I don't know. I feel like these are more iconic, and I thought it would be easier for our audience, honestly, to get them. But it hasn't worked out that way. Matt has been ruling the roost since we started going to retro games. So there you go.
Kind of drop in the middle somewhere, kind of do PS2 era things.
Yeah. Actually, I should probably move to PS2. Because most people have played a ton of PS2 games. Yeah, still the best-selling console of all time.
Yeah, almost everyone is old enough to have had a bunch of those committed to memory.
Yep, and that's what it is. It's really all about having that little sound effect just in your brain somewhere and being able to go through the files and find it and then say it. So thanks to everybody on Twitch and on YouTube for watching our show live today. We appreciate it very, very much. If you want to support us, head on over to patreon.com/sifted for $5 a month. You get all our content early. You get this show 3 days early. You get the Shane Satterfield show a week early. You get Pactor Factor a week early. Here's the thing, though. If you don't have money and you still love Pactor Factor, just go to twitch.tv/SIFTedGames and subscribe with Twitch Prime. If you're watching on YouTube, you want to figure out how to do that, go down below into the description. There's step-by-step instructions on how to do that down there. And you can just give us a free $2.50 a month if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. For free. It costs you nothing. It's all free. You have to do it every month, which is a pain in the butt. I totally get it. But we'd appreciate it very much. It really is kind of what keeps us alive. It's kind of our lifeblood. So if you haven't done it for a while, please re-up. That would be great. If you've never done it before and you're watching on YouTube, go down below into the description. Hook those accounts up and hook us up if you can. Let's see. What's up for next week? You going to play Code Vein 2?
No.
Am I going to have to play it?
Yeah, I didn't play Code Vein 1, so why would I play Code Vein 2?
That's true.
I did download the demo, but it's just a character creator.
Yeah, that's the dumbest demo ever. Yeah. I usually count on you to handle the Souls likes.
No, I never had any interest in Code Vein.
Yeah.
And this one,
it's like an anime really Souls like or whatever.
I don't know.
Think about February.
I'll take that one if you play Neo 3.
Oh God.
Because that's also this week.
It is. Yeah, the thing about February is that like all the big games in February come out in the first like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So the first 2 weeks we're going to be okay this month, and then after that we have to start working.
Except the big one is the 27th is
Requiem, Resident Evil Requiem. Yeah, and that'll finish off the month in style for sure. But this is GameFace. We always make it happen. We always make the show fun and exciting no matter what. And the truth be told, Matt, so much crazy stuff is happening in the games industry every freaking week. Mm-hmm. There's always something to talk about. That's
just everything now.
Kind of in life in general. Yeah, sadly. Anyway,
my kingdom for unprecedented times.
Seriously, it'd be nice. It was nice for the 4 years where I could wake up every day and not have to worry about the world ending. And now here we are, right back where
Sorta.
Yeah, sorta. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Any way that you support us, we'd appreciate it. Even if you just like this show or comment on this show, that's cool too. Like anything you can do to help us, we appreciate it very, very much. But we'll be back next Tuesday right here at twitch.tv/SIFTedGames at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Join us if you can. Until then, have yourselves a great week filled with great games. GameFace is up and out.